Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Jason Hornsby, JMels24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand across to whoever is in Google and Discord so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Hello?
Hello.
How you feeling today?
A little bit better.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bust an artery yesterday.
Well, there's people who have come along to say that we're dividing groups and then asking us about how pi would function after measuring Earth flat. Now, I've only got one job, to prove Earth's flat. So once that dickhead measured Earth flat, the discussion ended. Now, him saying, well, pi doesn't work with the mathematics of globe projection from flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle projected onto flat maps for circumferential values derived from angles. They don't work. Yeah, no worries, mate. That's okay by me. I didn't make them. The maps, that is. What I did was point out how Earth got measured. Because once it gets measured, what you do with the measurement afterwards, I couldn't give a crap about, Neil. And that's what I told him. Now, for him to turn around and say, you're trying to divide groups. No, I'm not. Earth measurement has nothing to do with groups. But that's what he came to tell me, didn't he, Neil? So, yeah, I did burst a blood vessel telling him off.
Yeah, it was justified, and you're 100% right. We are not allowing them to just skip right past step one and then go into their diatribe. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they might as well say, after Earth gets measured flat, how do you explain blah, 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 blah? I couldn't give a crap. So we extend our thanks to the gentleman who joined yesterday, but we could do without it. We don't need you telling us what we're doing to your group that you perceive flat Earth to be. It isn't. It's just a measurement of the surface. It is just flat, like he conceded, to then go on to question me about what we'll do with it. Like I'm a freaking cartographer, like I'm making the bleeding maps, like I'm deriving radial values from elevation. No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm but one man pointing out how Earth gets measured. Once you also understand how it gets measured, do I care what comes afterwards? No, it just gets measured flat. That's the end of the discussion.
He was caught in a couple of contradictions, too. One was he's saying the sun is circling. Then he said the sun's moving in a straight line. And then he said you got a circumference from God.
Yeah, wanker. Just here to do us disservice in terms of the information we're actually putting out. Talking about how he believes it's going in a straight line or he believes it's going in a circle. I don't care what it's doing. Literally, I couldn't care less. How is it measured? Not the sun, the surface. Oh, it's measured flat. We build on it flat, navigate it flat, sail on it flat, mapped it flat, charted it flat. Yeah, we did, didn't we? So it's flat.
Yeah, once they get to that point, then it doesn't matter. Anything else, I agree 100% how you handle that. Does not matter to me. I do not care. You measure it flat like I measure it flat. The world measured it flat. That's what we're here to tell you.
Yeah, he's saying, well, the globe rhetoric takes those flat Earth measurements and derives a circumferential value that I perceive to be wrong. Oh, that's lovely. Go and tell it to the dicks that tell you you're on a ball after measuring it flat. Not me. I couldn't care less. But the measurements are still flat, right? Yes, he concedes over and over again. Like they all do. Like Dan and Dave will start doing. Yeah, locally flat. Yeah, but that's only because it's local. It's only a very small scale that we're measuring Earth. Flat. No, wrong. At all scales, for everyone, always, without exception, it's measured flat. But conceding that on a small scale it's measured flat just means it's measured flat. One by one, our dickhead opponents on the Globestar will start to realise just how flat Earth gets measured, always without exception. Up until now, they've not had someone like me saying, no, that's the point that we measured Earth. We can stop there. We don't have to take the flat Earth measurements and bend them. That's not necessary. You can do that, you crazy idiot. I won't be doing that. I'll just look at the measurements of Earth as a flat plane of reference and say that's how we measured Earth. As a flat plane of reference.
Yep, it's over there. I agree.
My understanding is the ugly golem known as Dave McKeegan has taken umbrage to me pointing out how fugly he actually is. Yeah? Taking that low-hanging fruit rather than addressing the flat Earth elevation angles made by geodesic surveyors. The ones that Simon Dan's confessing to. I mean, only locally over 50k, right? Yeah, much easier to say, Nathan's saying I'm ugly. Yeah, it's much easier to address that. You are ugly, Dave. You ugly golem. Doesn't change how flat Earth gets measured. Also had a load of his cronies come and defend Dave, saying, how dare you say Dave got dropped on his head? Oh, so he's just incompetent when it comes to using an EQ mount then? Just a complete idiot. Doesn't know how to set up a basic tool. We got CERN. We got men running massive machinery and Dave can't manage to set up a tripod. Yeah? So no excuses, wasn't dropped on his head, just incompetent. What did he achieve with his EQ mount, though, that he set up incorrectly because he's an idiot? Well, he achieved measuring elevation angles off surface level, didn't he? Dave measured Earth flat. What's that? You don't like me calling him ugly? He is ugly. And he measured Earth flat.
Well, he'd rather address that than the flat Earth measurements, Nathan.
Nothing will change two things. Earth will always be measured flat in all circumstances and scales by everyone, and Dave will always be ugly. He'll always look like Gollum, no matter what he says or does. Nothing will change those two facts. Dave is incredibly ugly and looks like a troll from a movie called The Lord of the Rings, and Earth is always measured flat without exception. What's that? I can hear Dan in the distance. What's that you say, Dan? It's only locally measured flat. At 50k? 50 kilometres of flat measurement, says Dan. Yeah, that's right. Yeah? Why isn't Dave addressing that fact of flat Earth measurements conceded by Simon Dan? Oh, he doesn't like being called ugly. Tough. You are ugly, Dave. You do look like you were dropped on your face. But you weren't, according to the trolls that came to defend you. You weren't dropped on your head by your careless mother. So you have no excuse for incompetence in Antarctica then, dum-dum. Yeah? Just thick. Just useless. Just can't use a tripod correctly. Yeah? Dum-dum. Meanwhile, you got elevation angles, didn't you, Dave? Like the ones used by surveyors when they measure Earth flat always, locally, like Simon Dan confessed. You didn't address that, did you? Nah? Chose the low-hanging fruit of how ugly you were. I don't like being called ugly by Nathan. He's a very mean man. Yeah. Earth's measured flat, Dave, you complete dunce. Learn to use an EQ mount. You had the opportunity of a lifetime. You couldn't even get a basic piece of equipment to work. You are incompetent. There's no other word for you. Say again?
The Adam Meakin, how's he doing? You heard from him?
Yeah, he got burgled. Didn't you know?
Yeah. That we know. And we're on the conspiracy side to say it seems a little strange that they went for his computer, where the book is.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
He's definitely a shill. All sounds very suspicious.
No, but what I'm saying is these ballers know what's going on. They know this book is being written. They can hear how we talk about it.
Well, fortunately, Adam's forwarded out each chapter as he's done it, so it makes no difference to the book. I mean, that might.
Well,
might not be
Huey
true.
left us hanging because he said the day before he left, he said to Adam, Adam, what if you die? Send me every chapter of the book. And he didn't send it. So he asked him the day he was leaving, Adam, send me every chapter of the book. And Huey didn't tell us if he did or he didn't, and he just left yesterday after that. So he left us hanging, so we don't even know.
I mean, if it takes more time, that's just the way it goes. I mean, it does mean I'll have to e-beg, because as a result of me being ill, I am incredibly poor now. So as much as I'm like, great, the book's coming out, that'll stop me being poor, I won't have to e-beg. Yeah, I will. I'll give it another month, and then I'll just do a GoFundMe campaign and say, look, I'm poor. There's no other words for it.
For some reason, I have a feeling that Adam did send him everything. But that used to be my thing when I worked for guys, because a lot of times you work for these construction companies and they want to hold your pay. And that's how I would get my money. I would say, what if you die? I'm going to go ask your wife with your children there for 2 weeks' pay. No. Pay me now. And I would get paid.
Amazing how strong a motivated death can be.
Or he says, yeah, it's in my will.
Your paycheck's in the will.
You got it.
I had this one Jamaican kid, Trinidadian kid, Mark. And just in conversation, he's like, yeah, this so-and-so owes me 7 weeks' pay. I said, why didn't you get it? He said, nah, tell him to hold on to it. It's like a bank. I said, yeah? What if he dies? How are you going to get that money? Needless to say, that was the end of that. No more holding it as a bank. Did you continue watching that video from QE Tuesday?
Just before you carry on, sorry, Neil. My youngest daughter wants to say something to you, Glover wants to say something to you, Craig. Go on, Glover.
Thank you for my iPad.
She says, thank you for my iPad. He probably didn't hear that. He's disappeared already, hasn't he?
No, thank you. That's all right. My pleasure. Don't stand
very,
on it.
very grateful.
Has it been well used?
He
It
said,
will be.
don't stand on it.
No, when they broke their iPad, which has been fixed multiple times for free by Craig, And this time it's like, nah, the screen's cracked and it's going to be too much to fix. I'm like, you wouldn't happen to have an iPad, would you? Like one I can buy? He went, yeah, I've got this one. And he sold it me for peanuts, like what he paid for it. And I made up, couldn't be more delighted. My youngest daughter's over the moon. Because they do a lot of their work on it, like they do a lot of their homeschool stuff on it. So without it, they can't do Kumon, they can't do Twinkle, they can't do SciShow Kids. They can't do any of that stuff without an iPad.
The iPad is key for homeschool. My boys too.
It's absolute essential. What's the other thing they do? The languages one. Clover, what's the language program you use? What's the language program you do? That you keep showing me how many days street you've got on? Duolingo. Again, just an iPad app. So when it broke, we're like, oh no. Because they get a streak. They get encouraged to do the work. And each time they do the work, it gives them a congratulations and tells them how many days they've kept doing it consistently. So Clover's currently on like a 130-day streak for... What are you learning? Is it Portuguese?
No.
What is it then? Is it French?
Yeah.
French. So on French, she's got like 100 and something day streak. And when it broke, you're like, oh no, how do we get into the app so that she can maintain her streaks on Duolingo? Yeah, Mummy put it on the phone, yeah.
Mommy put...
I speak
I don't speak French. Sorry. My wife does. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but...
You ever see that movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn? When she loses her memory and then she just speaks French. She's like, I spoke French. I speak French.
Yeah, I do remember. Goldie Hawn was truly beautiful in that movie from memory. She was like really pretty.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying she wasn't later in later movies, but you know what I mean? In that particular movie, I just remember her being truly beautiful.
Yep. Extremely pretty.
Hello, gentlemen of Discord, Steve and Dank.
Good morning, Nathan. Good to see you back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I still feel pretty rough, but I think the antibiotics I've got are fully in my system and
they're kicking in.
Worked. Yeah, they've almost worked. You know, I'm not in horrendous pain anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was dying. I'm not even kidding. I'm like squeezing my wife's hand, and it just sounds embarrassing because it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought I had gallstones, and so did the doctors, but it wasn't. It was just an infection in that area, the gallbladder. So that's good because it means it hasn't got to be removed. But at the time, I thought I was having a heart attack. You know, I literally thought I was dying because it paralysed me. I couldn't physically move. So you gripped in paralysis, screaming in agony, gripping my wife's hand, and all I'm thinking is, I'm going to die, aren't I? This is it. This is the end. She calls out the ambulance. I don't know if I've told this story already, but when the ambulance came, they got all the heart monitors and stuff on you, and they put all the little sticky tab things on you. And after it had subsided, so the episode eventually comes to a conclusion, and she gives me the heart monitor readout and says, you see this here, where your heart's going at this rate? I'm like, yeah. She says, that's where the pain was the highest. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. She just noted where on the, is it an ECG? Something like that. Where she can tell me where I was in the most pain. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good that they got it figured out.
Yeah, it took about 3 days of being in and out of A&E. They give you medical grade heroin. What's it called? Morphine. And it didn't do a thing.
Yeah.
I was quite
That's what they
displeased with
give
them.
you? They don't give you Dilaudits?
No, they gave us they're just
Morphine.
based on the level of pain. If you're obviously in an excruciating amount of pain, yeah, they'll give you morphine. But after they gave it me, I wasn't annoyed at them, but I was like, it hasn't done anything. I just feel really stoned, but it hasn't taken any of the pain away. And then later, I spoke to somebody on like a medical helpline or whatever they call it, 111 we have here in the UK, where you can phone up. It's not like an emergency line, but similar. And they give you medical advice. And I explained to the person I was speaking to on the phone, I'm like, when I was in A&E, gripped with paralysis, screaming, I explained to them that in spite of giving me several doses of this morphine, it didn't do anything to the pain at all. And she was like, yeah, that makes total sense. With your gallbladder being infected, that it wouldn't make any difference to the pain. I'm like, well, why the hell did they give it me then? If anything, it was more difficult to try and sort of grit your teeth and work through the pain on the morphine. It was harder to do. To concentrate, to move, to walk, to do anything was harder. So concentrating on, sucking up the pain, if you will, was more difficult.
Now, where were you getting that pain? In the lower? Because I've been getting the pain right under my right rib cage, out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's where it starts. That's where it emanates, just under your rib cage on your right hand
Oh,
side.
God. Yeah, my luck, you probably don't have it, but I'll have it.
Yeah, possibly. But where did it get painful? Everywhere. Like, it shot through my groin, through to my feet, to my fingers, you name it, to the point, like I say, my chest was tightening up, and I thought I was having a heart attack.
Nah, I just got a sharp pain right under the right side of the rib cage. If I touch it, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, get it checked out.
It's called old flesh, man. As you get older, you start recognizing all of these pains.
Yeah. They also blamed me smoking and my weight in a very dismissive way. And my wife was sat with me at the time, and she kind of rolled her eyes and afterwards was like, that seemed like a bit of a cop-out. I'm like, yeah, but I am overweight and I do smoke, as much as I'd like to think I haven't, or I'd like to think I've stopped, but I haven't. And I was just honest with the doctors and such when it came to that. They're like, yeah, well, you need to stop. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. Given how painful it was, I am going to take heed. And that day I just stopped and I haven't smoked since. It's only been 2 or 3 days, but by the same token, it's like you get a scare like that and you go, no, I think I'll take that under advisement and do it. And I also fasted for 3 days and lost about a stone, 14 pounds, just under. And yeah, now I feel a bit better for it. I'm very grateful to all the people who suggested it, actually, because I wouldn't have done it had it not been for my community suggesting that. And after them suggesting it, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do a bit of research into it. There's been so many people that have said it. Like at least half a dozen people had said, try fasting. It's very, very powerful. And I'm like, okay. After when one person says it, you're like, well, yeah, whatever. And then someone else suggested that I do a juice cleanse. You're like, yeah, whatever. But by about the 5th or 6th person that's like, no, you should try fasting, it's very powerful. I thought, okay, well, there's obviously something to this if multiple people have all said the same thing. So I started watching a few videos on fasting. What was also quite useful and surprising was while I was researching fasting, there was, well, no, it seems obvious after the fact, quite a heavy religious connection to it. Certain people suggesting that various versions of the Bible have had the fasting elements taken out of it. Now, I can't confirm that, but that was certainly something that was hinted at. Like,
No.
really? I couldn't.
Jesus never said if you fast. Jesus says when you fast. It's sort of like you should. Like when you do this, don't be like the hypocrites. So fasting is a big thing.
Yeah. Well, what it did was get rid of certain twinges in my back, which I wasn't expecting.
especially with all the types of foods we eat these days. I mean, fasting is good. When I first became Christian, I fast regularly. I would fast 2-3 days, nothing but water. And I felt a lot better, but that was 30 years ago.
You should start again. More now than ever. Definitely worthwhile. Or at least in my experience, I had an extremely positive experience for it, and it wasn't difficult. So, yeah, the first day was difficult because you're hungry, but after that, 24, 30 hours in, your hunger goes away. You're not that interested in food anymore. So it's easy to carry on. And I had to make a conscious decision when to start eating again. I started in the middle of yesterday's show. So after, again, watching plenty of material on how best to go about breaking the fast, the suggestion was start with a very small amount of cream in your coffee. Not sugar or skimmed milk, just black coffee with cream, a couple of tablespoons of cream. And that will, start you off. That's what I did. And then it said move on to salad, then yogurt, and then have a normal meal, like several hours later.
Well, I fasted for 3 days one time. It was a church thing we did. It's everybody did it at once. So on the third, and there was church every night. It was going to Times Square Church at the time. Now, I knew better because I fasted before. But after that third night, I was really hungry. And there's a McDonald's right down the block.
Bad idea.
That's what I broke my fast with.
Bad
Nathan,
idea.
the pain I was in within an hour after eating that, I can't even explain the pain I was in.
Yeah, you've got to really take it slow. I mean, again, I didn't know this until I'd done the research. And then I'm like, okay, so the way to break the fast is very slowly and gradually. So, you, like I say, a couple of teaspoons of cream, and then an hour or two later, a salad, and then an hour or two later, some yogurt, and then an hour or two later, whatever you'd normally eat for your dinner. But by then, you've warmed your stomach up to the idea of having food in it. And even then, the meal my wife made, so we had spaghetti bolognese, I had the same portion size as my kids, and I ate about a third of it.
Neil, you can't cleanse your body and then fill it with McDonald's poison.
I knew that, but I figured, because I know I always would break it light with a little soup, and then the second day, something a little heavier. I was just so hungry. I ate the Big Mac within a minute, and it was a Big Mac attack after that. I was rolling. I was punched over.
That was the thing that the advice explained. They're like, if you go about breaking your fasting correctly, you become ravenous, like really hungry. And as soon as you start eating, you really want to stuff yourself full of food. So rather than letting that be the case, that's why I started with a bit of cream, which was scary. Because at the time, not at the time, only days earlier, I was under the suspicion that I had something wrong with my gallbladder. So okay, will this really, really hurt when I introduce something that's very high in fat content? Because that's what causes your gallbladder to hurt. It didn't. I mean, it did. It just didn't hurt anywhere near as much as before the antibiotics. Didn't end up paralysed, feeling like I was going to die, let's put it that way, after a couple of teaspoons of cream.
Yeah, I knew better, but I thought, I fasted before. I know how to do this. Never again. And, I've never fasted after that more than just a couple of meals. I've never did a full 24-hour after that. It's freaking hurt, man. I don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah, the two things that I took from the advice were, number one, while you're fasting, get electrolytes in you. So I just did. I got my wife to go to the pharmacy and bought a packet of electrolytes. And then every couple of days, or every time I needed a bit of liquid, I'd just put a sachet of that in. It stopped me getting any headaches or any fatigue. Go ahead. Was that Eli? Can I tell by a mumble that was Eli?
Yeah. What was I going to say? I forgot.
Something about me being ace. Something about Nathan being awesome. I'm sure that was it.
Oh, the Daniel fast. Have you ever did that?
No. Tell us all about it.
All veggies.
I don't remember too many details about it now, because when I was told about it, I didn't actually do it. But it's in the Bible.
I do. No meats, that's all. All vegetables and fruits.
That's like a vegetable cleanse then, more than a fast. Very interesting. Yeah, like I say, the biggest mistakes are like you've just described, people becoming ravenously hungry and then stuffing themselves full of junk food immediately after the fast, which is very, very bad and can cause pain. And in your case, it did.
Nuts, seeds, grains, water, fruits, vegetables, no meat. What they did was they didn't eat anything from the king's table, which they had meat after meat. You got to figure the King Nebuchadnezzar, all of the meats and dainties he had spread out. They did not eat any of that. They just stuck to fruit, vegetables, nuts, grains, water.
Right. Very good. Very interesting. But yeah, if anybody's interested, look into fasting. I could not recommend it highly enough. It is extremely beneficial. Or at least for me, it was, past tense now, extremely beneficial. I feel considerably better having fasted.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you complete a fast, you feel great. I mean, I know some people that did 2 weeks straight, just water. It's another level.
Well, you also get a level of mental clarity, which again I had to look up. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying.
This isn't quite right. So after, I think it was about day 2, like yesterday or the day before, suddenly I'm like, I feel really sharp. You know what I mean? Like my thinking's very clear. I'm like, I wonder why that is. So I looked it up, and it's because, I'm no expert on this, but I'm going to try and reiterate what I read a couple of days ago. When you're burning fat as opposed to using insulin to burn sugar to create energy, your brain's using ketones as its energy source, which is a far more efficient source of energy. Therefore, your brain runs more efficiently. Therefore, your clarity increases, and you're just sharper. You're like, okay. I didn't know that would be a benefit of fasting, but
Yep.
There we go. Who knew? My wife's been really supportive, and initially when it's like, okay, if you've got a problem with your gallbladder, we'll have to go on a very low-fat diet, and she's like doing her shopping and checking every label and making sure it's like under a couple of % of fat in each and everything that she's purchasing to try and avoid me getting pain. Now, obviously that goes on for a week or 10 days or however long it's been, a couple of weeks. But when it came to me saying, right, now I'm going to try fasting, she looked at me and went, I'm really sorry, I can't support you in this. And I went, what do you mean you can't support me in this? She went, I can't do that. I'm like, you don't have to. She's like, yeah, but, you know, I don't want you to feel like, you know, I'm bad for not doing it. I'm like, support isn't you doing the same thing. You know, it's nice that you've ate a low-fat diet alongside me to avoid me having gallbladder pain, but by the same token, you don't have to fast just because I am. That, you know, her level of support has been outstanding, my wife, that is. Not that you'd expect anything different from everybody's wife, I'm sure it's just as supportive as mine. But you know what I'm getting at? She's like, in her mind, she had to do the fast as well. She's like, I don't think I can do that. I prayed. That was the other thing. That was the thing. I was going to mention it a second ago. During the fast, one of the things that people said you should do, I'm just going to close my window, there's a whole load of background noise outside, is pray.
That's the best thing to do during the fast. Didn't you say, because didn't you say the clarity thing? So obviously fasting and then having a good internal talk is going to be substantially better when you're fasting.
Yeah, it follows in the Bible. That's what I was saying. Jesus goes on. He says, "When you fast," then he gives this whole spiel, and then he goes, "When you pray." So he's not saying if you fast and if you pray. He's saying when you fast and when you pray. So that's sort of like something you should be doing.
You said the other day that there's a passage about Jesus being asked why his disciples aren't fasting. And his answer was, well, they're with me. They'll fast when they're not with me.
Exactly. Pointing to when he's taken away from them. That's when they'll fast. Because remember, he always likened himself to the bread of life. And that's where people get confused with doing communion and the Roman Catholics with the Eucharist. He was using it as an analogy. He was not saying people got to eat him.
Yeah, that's generally made pretty clear, wouldn't you say?
Not to the Roman Catholics. They take the Eucharist to a whole different level. That is actually the body and the blood of Jesus that you are taking part of when you take communion in a Roman Catholic church.
Interesting.
Did you guys hear about across the pond about that guy Charlie Kirk getting killed yesterday?
Yes.
Well, didn't we?
Oh no,
That's sick.
I watched Charlie Kirk, so I woke up and do my usual routine of going through my messages, going through my emails. Administrative stuff is what I do first thing in the morning for whatever reason. I don't know why I'm motivated to do that. But the first thing I saw was that headline in my email from whatever source that I get, an RSS or whatever you call it feed from email or through email. And it's like, our hearts and minds go out to Charlie and his family. I'm like, Charlie Kirk, I'm sure I know that. You know, you're kind of just waking up and you're like, I know that name. Surely it's not that guy that goes to all the universities and challenges people on whether men can be women and vice versa and talks to the students. Yeah, that guy.
It's weird because it's taking place not even a week after that young Ukrainian refugee was just stabbed for no reason on some sort of air train in North Carolina.
Wasn't it on a bus?
And yeah, Airbus type thing.
Yeah, he was mentally deranged though. I mean, people started pointing the blame at people who'd let him out, and it's like, regardless of his mental state, you can't just permanently detain people. You know, eventually he's gonna be let back out on the streets, and he was. So it's no one's fault that he was there doing that, other than his. Now, obviously,
Three times felony.
Say again?
I believe in a 3-time felony rule. If you're 3-time felony, you're out. Just like baseball, 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. But they don't want to do that because it costs money to house prisoners.
Fair enough. Well, it's very sad.
Yeah, it's sad. I didn't comprehend what my son was telling me until I turned on my phone. It was all over. I was like, this is Charlie Kirk? I know who this guy is. Goes to the colleges. Very good. Nice guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he becomes a martyr for his cause.
Trump had something to say. I'm curious to hear what the Hodge twins have to say. The conservative twins.
Right.
You know who they are?
No.
Look them up. Called the conservative twins, the Hodge twins. They're these two guys, they're bodybuilders. They used to be Democrat. Now I don't even know if they're Republican, but they're not, let's say, deceived by the other side. And they have a lot of views on it. As a matter of fact, the video they had the day before it happened to Charlie Kirk, they had a video of Charlie Kirk, and they were going over it of him discussing what happened to that Ukrainian girl.
Right.
What are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. We are. This is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, but we're not FED 24/7 politics. We're FED flat Earth. Who brought this up anyway? Oh, I did.
Go ahead, Eli.
No, I was deciding on what to say about Charlie Kirk, but I'm not too committed to say anything.
You don't have to. If you didn't like him, you didn't like him. That doesn't mean anything.
I didn't know him. I didn't really like. So I was watching this video about I was watching this video where I think it was Kelly Price was talking about people talking about how she was dressed and how she looks and her weight and the size of her feet. And she was like, I understand, you know, your personal preference to be displeased with something, but the idea that you could just get online and disrespect someone and tear them down and this, that, and the third is ridiculous. When did we think that that was okay? When did that become okay? Now, there's another layer to that because like Charlie Kirk has said some very high octane things, and so as a public figure, people are going to have an opinion about the things that he's said. But at the end of the day, I never understand if you don't like someone, why give them so much attention? Like, don't you have better things to do in life other than sit on a computer and celebrate something that doesn't really change anything in your life? And then they'll ask us, why does flat earth matter? Talk about so many things that aren't relevant to your lives, and then you'll ask stuff like, why does the education of my child matter? So I don't know. I'm just a little mixed. I whatever.
Is there anything on the agenda for today?
Well, I think we got to keep discussing the fact that Earth is measured flat. And if any of these numpties come in with their nonsense, like Tora Foya or DJ or any of these idiots that are fighting a losing battle, we got to address it.
I don't think I don't think it's a big deal to worry about them either. Because I do think that there are times that DJ and others do a good job. We just talked about not committing all or nothing fallacies, right?
No, I said when they come in and talk nonsense. When they do, then we address it.
Why would they be coming in talking nonsense? Would it be because we're talking about them?
Oh, stop it, Eli. You're going to do this again? Come
Do what?
on.
What am I doing
What's he
other
doing?
than
You went
see
with the
how I'm
Winston side.
calmly
You were always going to
asking?
be that way with Winston, then with AI. Now you're going to back DJ and this other freaking clown? Not when they come in. When it comes across,
Because at
let
the
me
end of it,
rephrase. When it comes across us, then we'll deal with it.
Go ahead, Eli. Feel free to respond to that. Don't change, Eli, regardless of what Neil says.
all I'm saying is, it, I don't see why it would be a thing unless we're making it a thing.
Why?
Can't
Because
be
I
like,
tell
don't
you
come
why.
in
Because
here and
if
do the
somebody,
thing we made you do. we we
Eli,
we got you to feel compelled to do. Let's say, can't make people do anything.
somebody disrespects you, I would do the same thing, and I would feel the same way, and I would act the same way, like they're disrespecting QE, and like they're disrespecting Nathan by permabanning him and all the other nonsense. That's how I roll.
I'm not telling you not to roll that way, but that's not really like you're just telling me how you feel. You're not trying to actually go back and forth, about
Eli,
and the
I
conversation
went
is
in
not
there
going to
and I
progress.
thought
The
I was
whole
having
point
a
is
conversation with friendlies,
so
and that DJ guy immediately said to me, "I'll put your dumb ass
he's
on
not
loop."
understanding. He's
This is
doing what I'm
before
saying he's
anything.
doing. And it's not like I'm
Yeah.
arguing against it. Like I get it. But the conversation won't progress if your only message is what it is. I
Oh,
can't
Earth
say
is
anything
measured flat?
further to it.
That's not going to progress? That's all that needs to be said?
No,
Eli, that's what we've been waiting for all this time. The silver bullet, the lockdown solid proof. Not that Earth is not a globe, but that Earth is flat. We got it, and now we shouldn't say it because it'll stop the conversation. Or won't
who
progress the
said we shouldn't?
conversation.
Who said we shouldn't say it? What does what we say have to do with DJ? This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, good point.
Because they're countering everything we're doing by just bringing up Skunk Bay like there's something there.
I'm with you, Eli. I totally agree. Who cares? They're just people. Insignificant in regards to our message. You're saying that they're trying to hold us back by contradicting us. Yeah, they are. So what?
And they also argue well, and they also, actually get people to think about the discussion. Sometimes it takes more than just telling the truth. Sometimes you have to tell a story, not a lie, but a story. Sometimes you have to be charismatic and all that.
Oh, God.
No, fair enough. Eli's obviously taken a different approach to this, which is to say if you want to convert or educate people, then there's a certain way about it that's more conducive to getting that outcome. Now, me, I've got a totally different attitude. What's that? You don't believe me. You don't want to appreciate these facts about how Earth is measured. I don't care. That's my attitude. You don't want to accept this, then don't. Go away. Couldn't care less if you accept it or not. It doesn't affect me one iota if you don't accept this fact that Earth is measured flat. You can argue with me and then come back and tell me that it's only measured locally flat. That doesn't mean it's... You can do that all day long, but I won't care. I'm not going to sit here thinking, I really wish this person got converted and understood the truth. I don't care if you know the truth. I don't care. Like, sincerely, I don't. I'll talk about it because I've got a show about it. But whether or not the person at the end, the receiving end, understands and appreciates the facts I lay out is inconsequential to me. I don't care if you believe me or not. It's not about belief, it's a fact.
Right. And too many people in politics share that sentiment and sound exactly like Nathan to shit on politics. Like, you got to think about that. We can't be bigots. I mean, that's like the number one thing that I go against. That's like my best tool. It makes people shut up when I point that out. It makes them listen to me as an individual. I can't be over here being a hypocrite, being a bigot to an entire server for one or two people in one or two instances. That's ridiculous.
What do you mean being a bigot?
Yeah, that's what
Like
happens
when
when
he
you
said, when
interject.
he talks about the whole politics server as if as if no one in there would share the same sentiment as you. It's a community of different people and different mobs. They're not all the same.
To use the silver bullet analogy, not everybody is werewolves. Some people are vampires. Some people are other things. Werewolves are not. Everyone
Stop
needs a
it.
different bullet.
Stop it. In this topic, when you got the proof that Earth is flat, you lay it down and lock it in.
They are doing
I
that.
do. And
They
I
are
do
doing.
that. And I
They,
do that in the English channel and in politics. That's my point.
I
Like,
want to hear
and
from
like
Brian.
politics isn't not FED. Unfortunately, because of me, you can't do that. FED, like, fundamentally, partly built 24/7 and all of its offshoots until the day I decide that I don't want to deal with them anymore. Because I'm one of the few standing left, but there are a lot of other people that actually argue with a lot of the best principles forward, like I do.
Or to use another analogy, right? If you're trying to, not even that you're trying to convince someone of something, but if there's any hope of anybody even entertaining an idea, that there's the phrase, it's hard to fill a cup which is already full. So even if you have the total proof that everything is flat and all of it, and you can just all do it all day till the cows come home, it's always measured flat. If someone has a full cup, it's not going to get in. So some amount of that liquid has to be poured out. You have to unlearn some of what was learned to then fill that little bit left. Maybe. I don't know. It's just not everyone needs or can adopt the same approach as anyone else. Some people, all it takes is them to think about whether or not, how do you have gas pressure without a container, and it instantly converts somebody. And other people, it takes years of unlearning the indoctrination. It's not everybody is a werewolf that needs a silver bullet. Unfortunately, I think that's I don't know, inherently the problem. I love the tip of the spear can be that to keep up to date with the flat Earth debate, but there
You
are
guys are
I don't know.
enablers. You're part of the enabling crew.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying everyone has different approaches. Is all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to enable anything. I know, and I know what you're saying, and I get it. I'm just not trying to support or support anybody. I'm
But you
just
can't.
saying
But
everybody
you can't
has a
even.
different approach.
You can't even like you guys. If you include me in that, you can't. If you include Jit in that, you can't. If you include Berserker in that, you can't. Because again, like I said, it's a community. I mean, for God's sakes, on the live stream, me and DJ went back and forth right after the conversation that he had over here. So again, just be mindful of what you say about 24/7 as a whole, because people do support. You're going to lose support in good people being a bigot.
I agree with this.
There it is again. What do you mean, bigot?
Bigot as in someone who treats, a person as a community rather than an individual, cast dispersions on them as an individual as if they were the whole.
Yeah, fair enough. Like
Well,
a
people do that to
stereotyping
us.
fallacy. Sorry, Brian.
Yes, that's what a stereotype fallacy is. Usually someone who is a bigot, or they're being bigot like.
Okay, Brian.
Sorry, I'm just saying, isn't that what people do with FED?
Yeah, they are
What do you
doing the same, Brian. Yeah, some of them. Yeah, you're correct. The same thing what Neil said for 24/7. They are doing and saying, "Oh, this FD." Some of them saying like that. Yeah.
But also, to add to that, the same thing I'm saying about them is the same thing I have to say about y'all. Like,
Yeah,
so
but also in 90% of they are doing the good job. I can say for sure.
yeah, there's a lot. There's too much talk about sticking to measurements and no, dudes do a really great job. It's not everybody that talks about whatever.
They are not even near to David Weiss or persons like that, or Mark Sargent, Mark Sargent, David Weiss, they made so many things, stupid things and mistakes that you can number it. And they never start from what on 24/7 you will hear. They're starting from the main points. That's that 3 points: rotation, surface, and gas pressure. And they are speaking about everything, but they are mostly on the point.
Yes, but you have people like that guy that was on QE's there now, who is obviously wrong and obviously doesn't know what he's talking about, and obviously he's confused. Whether that's by design or by accident, I don't know. But like
that's also by
when people
Brian.
try to just 1 second, when people try to correct him, he didn't want to hear it. He wanted to become insulting. Now he also was in a position to mute people, like maybe Eli and that over on the server. So it's hard for me to give the server any respect when people like him have their game turned up as high as possible, or over talking as people, because I just know the type over talking people and doesn't know what they're talking about, and won't accept when they're being told so much wrong. That kind of thing. It's very hard to.
The case. But that's not the case, because we're not even talking about politics. We're talking about English Cup. Because in politics, I couldn't be muted. I'm a mod myself.
What? Sorry, you didn't.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, at the end of the day, it takes time to build these servers. I wasn't a mod in politics when 24/7 branched into politics. I wasn't a mod initially either. Like, it seems like the game changes just a bit differently in every Discord server that we're in. The rules are different. You know, how they want you to communicate with their members are different. And it's sometimes if you don't if you're not mindful of those subtle changes, you know, it could put you on the outs. So all I'm saying is, no, he's not someone who like he may have a voice, but at the end of the day, that doesn't stop somebody like me who also has a voice for telling him, no, I don't agree with that. Like, we do that all the time over there. So just don't criticize 24/7. Criticize the people if that's what you want to do. If you criticize 24/7, I'm going to check you.
Well, Nathan was barred from that. QE is barred from that.
Say again?
So Nathan was barred from politics 24/7. QE is barred from that.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That means it's corrupt.
No, that doesn't mean it's corrupt. That's a logical leap.
So you would say AI Overlord is not corrupt then?
AI Overlord being corrupt and 24/7 being corrupt, it's not the same thing.
But he does have sway on the politics server.
Yeah, every group has politics within it. Like, we got the same politics over here, brother. And we all think the earth is, and we all know the earth is flat. And we still all have our own individual grievances. It's the same thing over there.
Not really. There's a double standard.
What do you, not really what?
Yeah.
The double standard that one of the mods who elected to have me removed used this phrase, "Are you going to treat me like a nigger?" That same person banned me for diffusing someone playing that word over and over again by softening it, by saying it again, repeating it, repeating what someone had played into the stream I was streaming live. The same person that used it contextually in a racist way banned me for using that word. That's a double standard.
I have very minimal knowledge on the particulars, but I do remember the conversation coming up about that. And it's not like and someone from 24/7, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not like you were perma-banned. It's that is a rule in there. Indio got banned too for like 45 minutes, and he's the admin of 24/7 originally. Like, they play we play politics with the owners of the politics server. If they want to pull the trigger on something and it's against the rule, like, in order to stay there, an action has to be taken. If there's bias sometimes, it is what it is.
No, I have no issue with the rules enforced by that server in that regard. I didn't complain. My complaint is an individual who specifically voted to have me removed, and that particular individual used that word very much in a racist context. Me, I didn't. Now, if the word's banned, fair enough. Surely context is everything. But apparently not. Unless you're one of the mods and using the word to actually be racist, then that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
see, now no one's stopping anyone from raising a point like that, though, in 24/7.
I'm good. No, they just will never see me again.
No, you're good. But your point to say that this is different from that is that, no, that's not just, because that could be raised should someone, look into it and go, whoa, hold on. Isn't this a double standard? If that's the case.
Yeah, I could.
Eloy,
I could raise it in 24/7, but I would rather not. At the point that happens to me, I turn my back on people like that. Now, you're saying don't be a bigot and stereotype. Well, it's the server that I'm banned from, regardless of who's in there.
But at the same time, though, there have been times that me and other panel members haven't been agreeable. When I look to you, the leader, to say something, you're like, nah, I couldn't give a crap. Now, that's made me personally feel away. Now, did I do what a lot of other people decide to do? Go somewhere else and talk about FED as a whole because of how I felt about you as a leader in those times where I felt slighted? No, I didn't.
Fair enough. But if you did choose to vote with your feet, that would be your prerogative, wouldn't it?
True.
Right.
So I'm just saying it doesn't justify being a bigot.
No, I'm not saying it is.
I think in this case about Nathan, this is some personal stuff. Somebody or more of them does not like him, and that's the point. Are you still banned, Nathan?
Yeah, the name is Area Overlord. That's what
don't know. Don't care.
Just you don't. Okay, because I was muted also using that word for explaining how people using that word. I was muted for 30 minutes. People were jumping inside trollers and saying that word. They was not banned immediately, maybe after some. That means it's something against you in this case, because with explanation, people can realize who is racist and who is using that word every 10 minutes, and not somebody who is flat earth speaking about 10 years about flat earth, how earth measure flat, and you come to another server to speak about same things, and now you got him because he said that one word, and now he's banned. That's for me too personal, and somebody does not like you, that's it.
It's just a word. It's the context. It means everything. When any word, doesn't matter what the word is. Context is everything. The intonation behind the meaning of the word, how you've used it, and what you mean when you use it. That's what matters. Now, am I a racist? No. Are people who use that word racist? Yes. Can I use that word without being racist? Absolutely, without question, yes. Was that taken into consideration? No, it was used against me to ban me. So that's it. I don't care about that group anymore, regardless if you see that as bigoted.
Yeah, fair enough, but it's not like you're going on talking about the whole every time someone says something.
But it's the server that I'm banned from.
Yeah, but it's not like you're drumming it up. Like you have other things to talk about.
Exactly.
And you do.
Yeah.
That's which is why it's cool. It's not, I can't blame you for feeling how you feel. And also, I appreciate you deciding to move on. If you don't fit in somewhere, it's like, well, all right, cool. Yeah.
I just don't like that type of PC behaviour. It's like, I don't want to be limited in my language. Now, as much as I can appreciate Christians coming to me and saying they don't like me swearing, I will modify to a certain degree my language. And I understand in a PC society that there are certain words that are just not tolerated unless you're in a certain group. I can't go around calling people faggots unless I'm a homosexual. I can't go around calling people niggers if I'm not black. I understand the rules, but I don't like them because they're just words. The meaning behind the word is what I see as important. Now, not everyone agrees with me in the current society. That's something I'll have to deal with.
No, you're right, though. I agree with you there.
Oh, that reminds me of a joke.
You're right
It does involve me using the M word, I'm afraid, but it is a funny joke. And then we'll go live. So I can't remember which comedian told this joke. Obviously a black comedian. He's talking to his producer and he's saying, you're going to have to take the word faggot out of your set. He's like, why? He says, because you're not a homosexual, so you can't use that word. He says, but I use the word nigger all the time. He says, yeah, well, you're allowed to use the word nigger. He says, why? And the producer says, because you're... And then stops talking.
That is kind of funny, though.
Conversion is a straight line conversion. It is not a circle as a measurement. There was no measurement of a circle with them. It's purely straight line conversion. Because what they are is the measurement of the baseline of the elevation angle. That's what they are. That's what's being converted from statute to nautical miles. That's what that is. There isn't even aerospace. They use nautical miles. Shipping use nautical miles. Now, the reasons for it, I won't go into it, but they move in straight lines. Ships move in straight lines. Planes move in straight lines.
You sure about that? Is it not more efficient to move in curved lines?
No, but it's just like this nonsense about people mixing up stuff to do with the equator, not understanding things. Because they don't understand the actual bones of the situation. You know, and that's why we're being asked stupid questions like, is point 2 or some, I can't remember what it was, some stupid thing like that. But it was a misunderstanding. It comes from their misunderstanding of the situation. Believe me, I'm happy for them. Do you know what I mean? Off you go with your nonsense and get things wrong.
We've got a newbie in Discord. Anthony Burrows. Are you a newbie? Good to have you.
I seen him yesterday.
No. Been there for years.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
did you see the thing I sent you there recently
No.
with the Vladimir Putin link?
No?
All right. Vladimir Putin was having a interview with an African journalist, I think it was.
Oh, can I read? Before you launch into this, shall I read out what you've said to me? I've just got it. I didn't. This has got no little light next to it. Normally, when you send me a message, it highlights it by putting a little dot next to it to say there's a new message. Here's some speculation to ponder while in pain. Well, thanks. Read this short article from last year. It's Vladimir Putin speaking to an African journalist, I think. Read about what he says is coming to an end and how for long it has existed. I'm not saying anything here, but it is suspicious. Right, off you go.
Yeah, within the interview, he states to the journalist, he says, this vampire ball, which has been used to control people for 500 years, is eventually coming to an end, he said.
Vampire?
Now,
what? What did you say?
Vampire ball.
Vampire ball?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Now, I don't know what. Yeah, now, the journalist took it up as, and people have took it as he was talking about Western control. But he said this vampire ball that has been used to control the world for 500 years is now it seems to be coming to an end, or something along those lines.
Wow. Now I must.
Who said this?
Good. Whoever that was.
Who said this?
Putin.
Vladimir Putin.
Ooh. He's being spicy.
Yeah, and the fact he said 500 years, like that would be the general consensus, even though it wouldn't actually be correct. But if people were to go back to, like their starting point would be Copernicus, which would be, I think it's claimed he's 500 years ago. Now the real point would be 300 years ago with Kepler. But Copernicus would be what people would, if they did a little bit of research, it would be Copernicus would be the claimed origin. Let's just say. So he said 500 years. Like it's bizarre, isn't it? He said this.
What does he mean? Coming to an end?
That's what he said. Well, yeah. I was putting it present tense. I'll just do a couple of quick shout outs. So Calric thanked me, or moreover Brian, because he had the information, not me, for explaining where 60 nautical miles per degree translates to the surface level measurement. So thank you to Brian. Calric's thanking you more than me, Brian. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. Also, Unitox Femu says, why does the sun move? Why is the sky blue? Why is seawater salty? Why does the moon move? Why doesn't entropy stop? Why is air breathable? Why don't you know if Earth is flat? Well, thank you for the super chat, Unitox Femu. That's quite a lot to unpack. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Shout out to Pablo, who I believe is also Street Chronicles. Could be wrong about that. Maybe he'll tell me in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. He says, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk.
Pablo's ace.
Yeah, we did discuss Charlie Kirk in the pre-show, so if you're one of my members, you can hear that. Obviously, it's not really a Flat Earth-related subject, so it isn't necessarily going to get discussed in the live show, but we did discuss it in the pre-show.
I understand what he's saying with that, because that's exactly what they do when they wear. A lot of people, even this, going to tell you an observation of a ship that looks like it's floating in the air, and they'll tell me, explain that. Why do I have to explain something like that, Nathan?
It's called a burden of proof reversal fallacy.
But see, I'd be happy to explain that. It's not a ship floating in the air, especially if they're talking about what they call, I think it's an inferior mirage. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but a mirage is a mirror image. It requires a flat surface.
So two-part answer. Part one from Eli. You don't know what a mirage is. He's just a lot more subtle about how he said it. And part two, you're going to need a flat Earth for that mirage that you don't understand. Well done. Bravo.
Yeah, but that's you, Eli. And you do it well.
Of course, Eli's ace.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Chocolate.
Yes, Chocolate.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome back. Good to see you, Nate.
Good to be here.
Yo, what up, Chocolate?
Elijah, my guy. What up, bro? Still.
So I think that concludes housekeeping.
Is, how do we make people... Sorry.
I was just rounding out that section of the show, so that's housekeeping done with. I mean, whether or not we branch into general politics about Charlie Kirk is a different story. I don't mind. If people are keen to talk about that, I don't mind.
I just want to throw a Chocolate. Did you hear us talking a minute ago, Chocolate, about Vladimir Putin? His statement.
When I came in, I heard you saying something about vampire ball. I don't know. I didn't really.
Yeah, can you read?
Yeah,
I didn't hear you either.
Yeah, I just say it again for it. Just so I'd like to hear it. Just so I'd like for you to hear it. In an interview last year, that Vladimir Putin did with an African journalist, he stated within the interview that eventually this vampire ball is coming to an end after 500 years of after 500 years of being used. Sorry, this vampire ball is coming to an end after being used to control people for 500 years.
No way.
Yeah. Now I don't know
Are you
what he
serious?
exactly means by that, but that's very specific. The number of years and everything, because you're going back to
We
the
know what he
official
means.
Copernicus. Just interesting, isn't it? Like it's speculation. That's all it is. Can't hear
They've
you
been
yet.
sucking the life out of every human being since this nonsense came about that we're on this spinning water ball. Shout out to Putin.
I just read it.
Okay.
But this is hindered by the Western elite, which wants to freeze the current state of affairs and international injustice. However, the vampire ball is ending, the president said. Full stop.
I just found a short of it. I don't know if it's the right one, Brian. It's in Master B, but I don't. It could be.
Well, if it is, it'll be in Russian.
It does mention it.
It's in Russian, so if you have found a short of him...
Well, there's just I don't know. You have to have a look at it.
Yeah, stick it in Master B. I'll play it. If it is in Russian, I'll just stop it straight away. Oh, you have?
I think it's translated.
It's in Master B.
Yeah, I got it.
There is a very strong desire in the Western elites to freeze the existing unjust situation in international affairs. They are used to filling their...
Yeah, it's obviously it's not being translated into English, so yeah, we'll just give up on that. But thank you anyway.
Yeah, we need Sasha, our Russian correspondent.
Sasha isn't Russian, is he?
I thought so.
So did I.
Are you Russian, Sasha?
It's Greek, is he not?
I thought he was Japanese.
Could be black.
I was just going to say, is that black?
Because everybody was black at one time, even cowboys.
What? Everyone was black at
Well,
one
I think
point?
Russians are Asian anyway, aren't they? Aren't Russians Asian?
I'm just trying to digest what Neil just said. He just said everybody was black at some point. That was the last words that came out of Neil's mouth.
Yeah, that's a fact. You didn't know that?
So just saying
Neil.
yeah in a high-pitched tone and then adding that's a fact does not make anything ever factual. Ever.
All right.
I'm
There
not
was a
touching
time.
at all.
There was a time in the 80s.
Hold on, Neil. Sorry.
Everything-
Hold on, Neil. Our black correspondent
Chocolate knows
Eli has
what's
something to
up,
say on the matter.
like-
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm not touching that at all. Chocolate, you say it. You do it.
Our other black correspondent, Chocolate Sane, has got something to say on this.
Chocolate's black?
Yes, Chocolate is in fact black. That's correct.
Not with that name. I'm sorry.
I have nothing to say on this.
He's not touching it either. I don't blame you.
Okay, back in the 80s, no matter
It's
what
just
came out.
popular. It's popular right now and highway information on TikTok that all life generates from black people, genetically.
Yeah, well, being black's cool, but it'll fade.
No, what I was talking about was in the 80s, no matter what came out, it was like, well, the first cowboy was black. First pioneer was black. Well, this guy was black. Well, the first boxer was black.
I was black for a while. It didn't agree with me.
And the first white guy was black, too.
The first white guy was black.
All of the Irish are black.
A polar bear is born black.
Do you remember Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man? Wasn't he a black ginger?
Yeah.
He had red hair and that, yeah.
Yep.
No, he was
That
blonde.
movie's great. Where are the guns?
No, he was a black blonde in that movie.
Was it blonde? Oh, my bad.
Blonde.
Same thing.
No, it's not. Obviously, I'm colourblind. But there we go. But it was a strange colour. You don't normally have black men with blonde hair, though, do you? That's very abnormal.
Not today.
Well, except if all genetics come from black people. That's, obviously black people could also have really blonde hair.
Yes, if we accept that everyone's descended from black people, then yes. Okay, fine.
Well, listen, if you're going to believe the biblical accounts, then we did only come from two people. Now, what nationality they were, I have no idea.
Rainbow color, LGBTQ.
Well, where was Eden? Because if we know,
well, a lot of people say Africa, but now there are a lot of people are saying, if you look at the map and look at this, look at that, it's in America.
Are you sure it wasn't England? I'm pretty sure Eden was England.
South Jamaica.
In Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester. That's what I was told too.
No.
That is not Eden.
So was Jamaica Avenue.
Jamaica Avenue, beef patty spot. Hey, Nathan, have you ever had a beef patty on cocoa bread?
No.
Oh,
I just
dear.
had one yesterday, Leo. That's crazy.
Oh, no.
Yo. The cheese and
Nathan,
pepperoni and all that.
Nathan,
New Yorkers would be like, everybody knows that Jesus came to New York first. He had a chopped cheese with my uncle. Feel me?
That does sound like a very New York thing to say. Like while people are arguing where Eden's from, everyone knows Jesus was a Yankee.
No, speaking about Jesus and Putin now, did you hear that news? Like it was like a month ago, or maybe a year ago, when he said he released the old ancient paintings where Jesus was black.
Who, Putin?
Yep.
Well, that makes perfect sense, though, doesn't it? He's from the Middle East.
Yeah.
So of course
That's
he's
Orthodox Church, yeah.
It goes without saying. I mean, to me, it just seems bleeding obvious. Just because all of our paintings have got a white Jesus, doesn't mean he was.
No, when I was younger, there was there was many statues of crucifixes of a black Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
My friend will have one. My friend will have one on a shelf above his bed. Yeah.
I was going to say that's still the case in a lot of churches. So the whatever they're carving the crucifixion scene, the crucifix itself, out of with Jesus on it, it's like ebony or whatever wood they're using is a very dark black wood. So literally, it's a black Jesus on a black cross.
No, this was like an African man. No, basically. Was like it wasn't like the wood was just colored. Like this was like the statues I'm on about. Like he, exactly the same features as Eli. Like if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but
not like even Middle Eastern.
That makes
like,
no sense either, though. It's not like Jesus would have been a Rasta. I'm not saying you're a Rasta, Eli, but I'm just saying, he's not going to be that type of black man. He's from the Middle East. He's going to look more Persian and.
I'm not telling you what the statues look like.
Sure. I don't know how we got into this discussion of whether or not Jesus was a black man, but here we are.
Because listen, everybody knows. If anything is anything, it was black first.
Everyone was black first, Neil.
Anything. The first baseball game was started by a black guy. The first football game was started by a black guy.
Please, someone who knows better than me, correct me if I'm wrong. But seeing as that Christianity is actually, the word is actually only mentioned 3 times in the Bible, it's not like really, historically, I think the term Christian was reserved for these black people following Jesus. There was a derogatory term for followers of Jesus. I think they were black, and they called them Christians. And then the black people I guess the world just took it as their own, kind of like how we do with the other word. I'm just saying.
I'm going to call on my biblical correspondent who knows a lot more than me. I'm going to check with Paula in chat.
And what is the oldest Bible coming from? Ethiopia. Can you imagine? Orthodox.
Any other news that we need to deal with? We've got about 15 minutes left on this live stream.
We have a sun in September in UK.
No, I want to know how we're going to move this forward. Like, we started off with getting, we were making visits to different servers to getting people to start on the front foot forward with how Earth is measured flat. Now,
well, can I stop you there before we get into a deeper? Before we get into a deeper direction in that way, when I said inferior mirage, I meant superior mirage. That's what it looks like when everybody's saying it's the ship floating or blah 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 blah. I just wanted. Okay, go ahead.
No,
Neil.
that's not. That's not. None of them is mirage. The effect is the sky mirroring onto the sea. That's not mirage.
It's a mirror image. That's what a mirage is. Yes.
No, superior mirage is an upside down image above the object. Inferior mirage is the inverted.
It's still a reflection. It's not a. It's a reflection. That's what it is. It's a mirror image in both cases.
Yeah, it is a mirror image from the sky down, from like a mirror of the sky onto the water, giving the impression that the boat is floating above an horizon or whatever. But I don't know if
that's the superior one, right?
I don't know if that's a mirage. That would be more correctly summed up by looming.
Okay. Well, no, but I don't. Let's talk about it later. Neil was trying to go in a direction. I just wanted to correct myself, but if your correction is it could be looming, well, let's discuss that in the after show or something.
Yeah, no worries. It's not a big deal.
Go ahead, Neil. 12 minutes left.
Well, how are we going to get everybody? We started with going front foot first, right? Forward, how Earth is measured flat. And we went to different servers and didn't work out too well because it seemed like, and I could be wrong, but there was a resistance from the so-called flat Earth side. Now, we all know this to be a fact. It's not even debatable, like there is no debate. Now, how do we translate this where it's not so offensive to people? Or do we even care?
Well, you added that because of presumably knowing what my answer would be.
Offensive?
Well, for me, we got to focus on...
No, it's offensive to people.
Chocolate first, then Eli. Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, Neil said, how do we state it without being offensive? What do you mean, like stating facts? Offensive? No. What do you mean by that?
Seems that way.
What do we care about feelings?
There's been a lot of... Never mind. I'm not even going to perpetuate that message.
No. You got it. You started. You got to finish, Eli.
That's not true.
There's been what people would call infighting. It's just sharpening of the swords, I would say. You gotta get the weak stuff out. We've always done that, and that's just what's gonna continue to happen.
Yeah, but it seems like the knife is throwing the sharpener, kicking it to the curb. You understand what I'm saying? Now, there is a sharpener.
Oh.
We have a bunch of sharpeners here. I consider QE the main sharpener. And when the main sharpener of these swords is being kicked to the curb, it offends me.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't run in with a sword and a Rambo, bandana on and mud mat paint on your face in a library. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and you can't transform into that in a library after being a gentleman either. Like you it's just it's politics, man, of the world.
Eli and Chocolate. Eli and Chocolate. This question is for Eli and Chocolate. Do you remember 24/7, say 7 years ago? Now that was it. That was the
Yeah, it's the
place to
same.
be
It's the
when
same.
this
It's
was
just
over.
you're not around for those moments. That's all. Because it's not your cup of tea sometimes.
Oh, so now
But
this is my point. You're saying they're not around for their moments. Back then, there wasn't moments. It was a steady grind, straightforward. There was no moments. It was
no,
constant.
that happens all the time, every
There
day.
was
What I'm
moments.
saying.
There was moments, Neil. The thing is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like there are going to be dull moments where there are no moments, right? There are going to be moments, and then there are going to be moments when there are none. That's just how life
Like
goes.
you
All I'm
like
saying is,
chocolate. Hey, chocolate. Look, here's what Neil and everyone is complaining about today as if it's something new. People like Lemon Bird. It's always been a thing. That didn't never make FED week or 24/7 week because there were people who have been around a long time that had to be challenged.
no, I'm talking about the times when you
He's
could
still
go in
around.
there and you could hear QE there and things that were transpiring from him being there. That's gone. It's no longer there.
No,
You
it's
don't get
not
that no
gone because
more.
I'm there. How could it be gone when what are you talking? It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not gone. What am I, chopped liver?
No, you're Eli, but you're not QE.
Okay, QE ain't there. So what? QE can't be everywhere anyway.
I've just had confirmation QE is actually omnipotent. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, ask Brian that. Brian had him walking on water one time.
No, he didn't.
I think the way
exhibits
forward is
Christ-like behavior.
sorry. I think the way forward is with demonstrations along with axiom that the earth is flat. People have a problem with axioms, obviously. If they think level is curved, we have a very strong fundamental problem right there in the beginning.
If level is curved, then what's
So,
horizontal?
well, that's what a laser test would have someone have to respond to. You can't have 10, 15, 20 miles of horizontal surface on a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. That's just not possible.
Well, that goes to the question QE was asking the gentleman yesterday. How do you have a horizon on a globe? And we did not get an answer.
Because there isn't.
That's something that if people, shut the F up, will understand. Because initially it might sound strange to someone who's not even really used to this conversation. Or even if they're used to the conversation, they've never heard a conversation like a question asked like that before, especially because people think that you can't have a horizon on a flat earth for some reason, which is really dumb. So when someone shuts the F up and lets QE elaborate, that's when it makes sense. The problem is they never shut the F up and he never gets there.
Yeah. The question itself should be jaw dropping to everyone, but I guess it's not. To me, it's like, how does the penny not drop when that is put right in your face? Like, just think about it. Very easy.
You don't have a horizon on a sphere. You can't have a horizon on a sphere. A horizon is very much a flat Earth only description.
That's correct.
Because of what Eli just said, people somehow think that you can't have a flat Earth. So they've been convinced that a horizon is the curve of the Earth. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're going to need a surface level and a parallel eye level in order to derive that mathematically in an orthographic view. That curve of the Earth being the horizon.
So we've done the dumping on the numpties and covering the numpties. I don't see why we couldn't cover FE material from people in the field making measurements and actually trying to get this out to the public. I feel like, you know, as our voice being the sharp, one of the most sharp ones in the community, I think we should be giving back to the community by shedding light when they do good versus just talking crap about the ballers. We shouldn't even give them any shine.
We, bigot.
What do you think, Nathan?
Me, the individual, as opposed to we, the group. You tell me who's doing that and I'll promote them. If you've got a video of somebody who's out there talking about flat earth measurements as they measure earth, then I'm more than happy to promote anybody who's doing that.
Heck yeah, yo, if you're in the live right now and you're listening in and you have people that, you know, you really enjoy that share their flat earth measurements, then send them over.
I do agree with Brian in terms of his sentiment with regards to Putin, which is, although it may not be the case contextually, we don't know, and I don't speak Russian, I've just read the translation. But the sentiment of a 500-year toxic bull faith that's come down from the Roman Catholic Church coming to an end does seem to be the case. That is to say, there's only so long you can hide Earth being measured flat when it's necessitated to be measured flat for survival reasons, for navigation reasons, for buildings not falling down reasons.
Here's the problem, though. It won't change anything. Okay, okay, maybe those aren't the right words, that it won't change anything. The Catholic Church, they were never followers of the scripture to begin with, to be telling people that couldn't read the Latin text at the time that perhaps we're moving around the sun. Like, they were never true followers in the first place. So once this facade of Roman Catholics or whatever it is breaks down, we still have an unidentified entity to begin with that's caused all this. They're not going to just go away. They're still going to have power. We just don't know who they are.
Yeah, and the methods they use to control will just alter rather than dissipate. So if we get rid of all ball faith as a means of control, does that mean that the control ends? Absolutely not. Just changes. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Currently, the religion that we're under is no different to Scientology. We have a parallel belief with Scientologists, if we're ball believers, that is, not me or you on the panel or potentially in my audience. But for the most part, anybody who's listening that believes in the ball has a parallel faith with a Scientologist. Those are the facts. They've come from the same place. They are the same religion. There's only subtle differences between heliocentrism and Scientology. They're both based on the same principle of a never-expanding, endless black space with us moving around the sun and areas they call planets that other beings can live in or on. That's Scientology and heliocentrism simultaneously. They are the same. In that regard, at least. You might not have Xenu, but you still have aliens in heliocentrism, just like Xenu. No different.
I can't agree with the fact. Go ahead, Brian.
No, you go ahead, Neil, because I'm going to throw cat amongst the pigeons there in a second.
I was just going to say, I can't agree with the fact that things are not going to...
Go ahead.
I can't agree with the fact that you think it's meet the new boss, same as the old boss. No, I don't think so. That's why they're keeping it so tight. If it wasn't a problem, then why do it in the first place? Why keep them in this prison of a ball?
It's not really them that's keeping it. It's our minds that are keeping it. And this is why I wanted to push back on my own self because I realized kind of how grim what I said sounded. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let me give you a hopeful message. The only way out of this is for humankind to, number one, put aside their pride because they have to get really intimate with logic and what logical fallacies are. Because if you understand what affirming the consequent is, if you understand what reification is, if you understand what begging the question is, you can't deceive yourself. And hopefully, you wouldn't want to deceive others. But best of all, others wouldn't be able to deceive you with broken messages and things that don't make sense. If that stopped, then the power would be taken away, because the power is in our broken minds. It's in our beliefs. That is the business that they're running. They're running their business on our beliefs, and those beliefs would go away if we understood the logic.
I agree, David. I mean, Eli.
David? What does that mean?
Take the power back. A David Weiss reference. We got to take our power back.
Are you?
Go
ahead, Brian.
Yeah, something just before the show ends. I was looking at this Freemason site, or channel on YouTube. I came up, it just turned up on my feed, and it was about Freemasonry in Ireland, right? Now, Freemasonry, I won't go into all the details, but a lot of the standards of Freemasonry, as in the construction and geometry standards, I won't go into it too much, but a lot of this all comes back to Ireland, supposedly, right? Long story short, they found a square, a carpenter square, a square. That was in Limerick. This is back in the 1800s, and it was dated on 1570 or something like that, or 1540. So the date on it was the 1500s, basically, or whatever. And or is that the 1600s? I don't know. I often mix that up. But it's 1540, whatever. But what was this? Now, they don't know if it's that old, right? And that would be predating the Freemasons, which would have been in the 1700s, 1777, I think it is. But what was written on it, now, it's in English, so I don't know what the story is about it. But it says, this is the thing, so it's possibly a lie what the guy is saying, but what was very good was the fact that he was covering Freemasonry, and this supposedly is a very old square. And the inscription on it is, and it's written on both sides, half on one side, half on the other. I'll try and do it correct justice. I promise to live by thought and care, upon the level and by the square. The guy went on in his video to talk about Freemasonry and how a lot of the practices and standards that the Freemasons ended up having actually started in Ireland with Freemasons here, blah, blah, blah. But he used the word globe or global a couple of times. And I left a little comment for him, and he never responded. I just got about the measurement of Earth. It's like, oh, you fooling buddy. And I gave him that quote. But I just thought the quote was really good. It was like, I promise to live with thought and care, upon the level and by the square. A quote from very ancient Freemasonry. Does that not tell you at all? Do you know what I mean?
On the level and by the square, right?
Measure the globe. Sorry?
On the level and by the square, right?
Yeah, I promise to live with thought and care, upon the level and by the square. I can get you the exact quote, but I think that's it anyway.
Well, their symbol is the square and compass. That's the Freemasonic symbol.
Yeah.
Well, that in itself should speak volumes.
Of course, it does. It's just that when Eli was saying, or people who, I don't know if it was Eli, someone was saying a minute ago about who perpetrated this, deception of a globe. Who was the first to start telling people it's a globe, even though they knew better? Because those people had to have known better. But the Freemasons certainly were responsible for all kinds of building. Same with the Quakers, of construction of places. The Quakers built the city I'm in. They built that. It's the oldest city in the country, I think. So they were building things by upon the level and by the square a long time ago. So there's where people are coming out of this globe, I don't know.
Oh, it's coming to an end now. Or should I say a beginning?
What is, Neil? Be more specific. Are you talking about Putin again?
Yeah, the whole globe nonsense is coming to an end. What they didn't realize was that, it's going to be a 10-year run that could fade away, but not with the internet. It's been plus 10 years now, hasn't gone away. It's just gotten stronger and stronger. We're not in this little dark corner of the internet anymore. This is universal. This is every country. There's a lot more people that comprehend that Earth is flat.
Yeah, there's a very annoying new wave of enemies that I see. There are these perhaps, especially speaking with the PhDs, people just leapfrog to the idea of we don't know if it's round or flat. Regardless of you pointing out that flat's not a shape, what they mean is we don't know really anything because this could be some sort of
simulation.
What's the word? What's the word? Matrix. What's the other word for it? A made up place. Simulation. There you go. Simulation where just from your perspective it's flat, but we could never really know. And ethers and all this other stuff, there are a lot of people that are heavy into all that stuff. It's like, so again, the problem is people's minds. And they don't want to change it.
You're saying there's a heavy wave of people.
Just give it. Hold on, Chocolate. Just finish that thought, Eli. Go ahead.
That's the harder fight. Because think about it. I don't want to get too personal, but the conversations that you have with your son, Neil, that's the real fight. It's like, okay, you've seen all of this information, obviously, because you've been next to me. You're as close as you could possibly be to the truth. Why is it not making a difference? That right there, the fact that people don't want to change, that's the real fight. I don't know how we beat that. It's not with flat earth measurements, I tell you that.
Yeah, because he understands the measurements, but he goes right to 2 points in the sky nonsense. The Sigma Punctus nonsense, whatever the hell, however the hell you say it. And he doesn't realize.
Well, it's a belief system, isn't it? And some people just can't let the belief system go. It's up to them, isn't it?
That's that teddy bear they've been coddling since they were kids. It's kept them nice and warm. They don't want to let that go. It's hard to let that go.
Globy bear.
Globy bear. But hold on. How do you not let... Okay. All right. Once you can prove something where you could take someone out of a belief with proof, then why go back to the belief? I don't get it.
I don't know either, Neil. I was listening to Chase Hughes, who's one of the behavioural panel members, and he was explaining cognitive dissonance with an example of a cult member, where the cult member can be shown contrary evidence that absolutely without question disproves their belief. Like, there's no question about it. It's contrary to what they believe in. But as they're told it, other members of the group rally around them to tell them that that's still not the case. I used the example yesterday, actually, when some guy was saying, oh, the opponents have got an ace up their sleeve. And I'm like, yeah, that is the case. They're cheating. But if you tell a member of the cult, the Globe cult in this example, that their guru's lying, cheating, incorrect, by showing there's literally a card up their sleeve, they could be looking directly at the card in the guy's sleeve and they'll still say he's not cheating. That's cognitive dissonance. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah, how do you fight that?
You don't. You can't. That's the point. That's kind of why I'm a bit more apathetic to this cause when it comes to people who simply do not want to acknowledge or understand these facts. They would rather, in the face of the facts, say no. Like, a good example would be Scientism saying, yeah, locally we measure it flat, but we've got curved sea level. That's the card up the sleeve being pointed out and then going, yeah, there's a card up his sleeve, but to play the game fairly means you have cards up your sleeve.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, that's Simon Dan. That video was great.
Doesn't Nathan understand that we have curved sea level? No, you dunce. That's a contradiction in terms, an oxymoron. Meanwhile, Dan understands and appreciates how flat Earth gets measured, and as I said at the beginning of the show, that was what I put across in the Dave McKeegan Spins video, where we discussed Dave McKeegan and his use of things like surveying. Now, as I say at the beginning of the show, Dave seems to have taken umbrage with being described as ugly. Just don't be so ugly. But you also measured Earth flat, Dave. And it's been pointed out that surveyors, by Simon Dan, measure Earth flat. Now, it has been it's been ignored in favour of moaning about how ugly he's being described as. Oh, well, how sweet.
Not just him. Hold on, not just him. There's other people that have taken offense to that, Nathan. We have our very own pitch data blower, Buck Sodbuster, says to me, Neil, how can you sit there and listen to Oakley continue to call McKeegan ugly and not call him out?
Dave McKeegan's ugly. Right, there is no two ways about this. Nothing's going to change how fugly Dave McKeegan is. But he's still measured Earth flat. To attack me calling him fugly is the low-hanging fruit that he needs to appeal to when dealing with a video that details how Simon Dan has admitted that we, that's surveyors, survey Earth flat for 50k. Now, in reality, all surveys measure Earth flat. What's that? You're going to discuss how I've described Dave as ugly? Yeah, bless.
Let me finish. Hold on, let me finish the back and forth. So I said, of course he is ugly. And I said, are you serious? You've been deaf to what's been said about Nathan for years and what's been said about people like me who comprehend that Earth is measured flat? He says, not by McKeegan. And here's the key thing I want to go out there because this is a baller confessing something. Others, yes. The stuff about Nathan hitting his kid is BS. But McKeegan has not been like that. Nathan is a piece of garbage. And I can't read the rest of it.
Right, so the attitude is because Dave
McKeegan
McKeegan personally hasn't attacked me, I'm not allowed to call him fugly. He is fugly. That's a fact. He's fugly and he measured Earth flat. Now, if you don't like me calling Dave fugly, tough. He is fugly. Very fugly. Like scrape your own eyes out your own head fugly. That's how fugly that Gollum-looking troll is. Now, what? He hasn't attacked me, so I'm not allowed to call him fugly? Yeah, I am. Dave McKeegan is a fugly troll. A Gollum-looking, scrape your own eyes out ugly mofo. That's what he is. Now, you don't like me calling him that? Yeah, that's tough. Dave also measured Earth flat in Antarctica with elevation angles, but for the fact that his incompetence led him to not be able to use an EQ mount. So he's not only fugly, he's a dunce. A dunce that doesn't know how to use a tripod correctly. Like, completely idiotic. Stupid. Incompetent. A moron. a vapid fool. That's what he is. There's no two ways about it. Now, if you don't like me calling Dave Fugly, tough luck. He is Fugly. Yeah? But he measured Earth flat. That's what we actually argue about. Now, you can go for that low-hanging fruit. Nathan's a bad man. Oh. Won't change how flat Earth gets measured, will it? That's the real argument here, is it? We could argue all day about how fugly Dave is. We could do that. We could argue about how fugly Dave is. But instead, we choose to focus on how he measured Earth flat in Antarctica. Not for 24 hours. He was incompetent when it came to using an EQ mount. Like he's dumb. There's no other way to describe that incompetence, is there? Stupid. That's what Dave is. Stupid and fugly. Fugly, because you've only got to look at him to know that you'd want to scrape your own eyes out by looking at him. And a dunce, because he couldn't use an EQ mount correctly. That makes him a fugly dunce. A fugly dunce who measured Earth flat. Now, which fruit are you going to go for? Me calling him a fugly dunce? Or Dan's rendition of the facts we measure and survey Earth flat? Just like Dave did. I'd go for the fugly one. That's a much easier fruit to pick, isn't it, lads?
Yeah, but I like the fact that he said that all of that nonsense about you hitting your kid is BS. So I don't want to hear it.
I don't even need to defend that. I don't need to defend that. Yeah? That bullshit that people make up about me is irrelevant to how how flat Earth measured by Dave is.
Yeah, but that just goes to show they've all known that the whole time.
Yep.
They just push it just to try to put people off the scent of FED and Nathan, and it's not working. So
what I especially like, Chocolate, is the people who came to defend Dave. Yeah? You're a bad man, Nathan. You called him ugly. Yeah? Do you know what I did with every single one of the trolls that came to defend Fugly Dave and his Gollum-looking face? I pointed out that Earth's measured flat with examples and citations from people like Dave and Dan. That's what they got. They came here to tell me I'm a bad man for calling a fugly man fugly, which he is. But what they got was the same pain Dave's expressing when he moans about being called fugly, which is the pain of knowing that Dan is currently conceding to how Earth is locally surveyed flat. Now, Fugly Dave is appealing to the orthographic blueprints that are used when we build things after surveying Earth flat. These are the facts that Fugly Dave can't cope with. So what's he moaning about? Getting called fugly, which he is. Like I keep saying, you'd want to scrape your own eyes out after looking at that Gollum-looking mofo. But does it change how flat he measured Earth? No, it doesn't. But like I say, you feel free, you bunch of also probably fugly-looking trolls that are Dave's audience, to tell me I'm a bad man for calling it out like it is. Yeah? Facts. About how fugly he is. Those are facts. Yeah? You don't have to like them. Same as the facts you don't like and don't want to address about how flat Earth gets measured by surveyors. Always, without exception. I mean, it's only local, says Dan. What's that? I called him ugly? Yeah, didn't I? I also pointed out how flat he measured Earth, though, didn't I? That didn't seem to get addressed. Maybe when you come back this time, address how flat Earth gets measured, rather than how your guru's had his nose put out for having pointed out how ugly he is. Yeah?
I don't think it's Gollum, Nathan. Are you sure it's not Globum?
Globum?
Yeah, rather than Gollum.
Yeah.
Globum.
But I was also told off for suggesting that he was dropped on his head in my video response to him. Nathan said Dave was dropped on his head. That's outrageous. Oh, really? So his incompetence when it comes to using an EQ mount, that's not because he was dropped on his head then. He's got no excuse for his incompetence. He's just thick. Just incompetent. Without any semblance of excuse to offer. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's incompetent. He couldn't use an EQ mount. But in the little bit of success he had with that EQ mount, what a dumbo. He managed to measure Earth flat, didn't he? Yeah? We know that. Dan knows that. But it ain't getting addressed, is it? Yeah? I'm being told that surveyors use orthographic blueprints. Yeah, they do. When they measure Earth flat, you fugly mofo.
You know who was ugly? It was Simon Dan was pretty ugly when he had to kind of concede that you were right and that it is measured flat. Like he looked kind of ugly with the pain that you could clearly see on his face. That's what I was entertained by. So you can go come get me because I called him ugly. That's fine.
Yeah. To quote Dan, he went, "Look, yes, local surveyors use flat approximations for convenience." Yeah, we know, Dan, Earth gets measured flat. For convenience, like. Yeah, even by fugly trolls. When in Antarctica, they measure Earth flat too. Don't they, Dan? For convenience. We're going to need a flat Earth for it to be an angle measurement that Dave took. I mean, not completely. He's incompetent. Not dropped on his head. I mean, obviously, I was wrong about that. His careless mother didn't drop him on his head. He's just got poor genes. Stupid genes. Genes that have led him to not be able to use an EQ mount correctly. Like a dunce. Like a retard. That's what Dave is. Stupid. Incompetent. A dunce. Who measured Earth flat.
He didn't only measure it. Hey, Nathan, he didn't only measure it flat. We had a double whammy because, like on Brian's video, he actually demonstrates how Earth's not rotating when his tripod rotated in the other direction, 15 degrees per hour, and it should have been stationary. If the Earth is moving at 15 degrees per hour, you shouldn't have seen it moving. So he's not only measured it flat, he's pointing out that the Earth's not rotating. Also, great video, Brian, by the way.
Yeah, don't ever apply for a job at CERN, Dave. Yeah? You demonstrated incompetence won't get you the work. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying thanks to one day. I put that video and the timestamp in Matt Abifia, Nathan, if you want to see the exact quote from that Freemason thing.
In the UK, there are more
ads. What's the timestamp? 4:30.
Singular simplicity is the injunction. I will strive to live with love and care upon the level by the square.
I will strive to live with love and care. That's very nice. I like that. I will strive to live with love and care. Excellent. Upon the level. Right, like on the level surface, upon it. Yeah, like on a flat Earth. And by the square. Yeah, a 90-degree square. Something that isn't at all useful for measuring spheres with. Only useful for getting perpendicular right angles to a plane of reference. So, on the level, by the square, I will strive to live with love and care. How beautiful. That's Freemasonic, is it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They say it predates Freemasonry. That's what they're trying to say. But I was a little bit wrong. I said thought and care. It's love and care. I have a bit of an issue with the word love. So I probably blocked it out.
Bit of an issue with love?
It's just, it is that word and everything. But I will try to live with love and care upon the level, by the square. Not and by the square. Upon the level, by the square. I had that wrong. I put in the word and, but it's not there. So it's love, not thought. And it's by the square, not and by the square.
Perfect. Anything anyone wants to add before we move into the after show? No? With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
That's what we were talking about before about this, the jumping the gun and skipping past angles. I caught the old friend Ruhif last week. Can't remember what it was. I just jumped in somewhere having a listen. I didn't stay around that long. And he was going on. All I heard him say was, this is where us, the flat earthers, are still having problems. We've been having problems since 2017 with the 60 nautical miles per degree. You know,
Sorry, Ruhif was talking about 60 nautical miles per what?
Degree. Yeah, you're talking about
Ruthie,
calculation.
you're gonna measure that degree off a flat Earth, mate. Were you dropped on your head, Ruthie? Yeah, you're gonna be measuring a flat Earth for that measurement, my friend. Let me know how they taste. How's that angle working out for you, Ruthie? Good? Good? Yeah, you're going to need a flat Earth. Don't use our stuff, Ruthie.
Finish up. You were rudely interrupted.
Don't use our stuff, Ruthie.
Yeah, we're going to stop them from now on, right from jump. As soon as they start, because they're all going to start, they have to, from a flat plane of surface. Flat Earth. So we're stopping you right in your tracks. You're not going any further. I don't care what anything else says after that. As long as you acknowledge that you're taking it off a flat plane.
Yeah, you hear that? And Neil's right, Ruthie. How do they taste? Yeah? Don't use our stuff. You don't get to use degree measurements off a flat Earth, Ruthie, you dunce. Are you as dumb as Dan? Is that the problem here? You're too stupid to realise you're measuring a flat Earth with your description of degrees off a flat surface, Ruthie. You dunce. Don't use our stuff, Ruthie. I hope that's clear, you utter dunce.
See, now he's a perfect example of either cog this or he just doesn't want to face the truth.
No, Ruthie's thick. If he doesn't appreciate what that angle measurement is, then he's dumb. You're dumb, Ruthie. Did you not realise that angle measurement was made from a flat surface? Like it can't be an angle if it's curved. Do you not hear the housekeeping questions we ask daily, Ruthie? You're just thick, right? Like really dumb, dropped on your head idiotic. Yeah, we always knew how dumb Ruthie was. Because he seems to be wanting to use flat Earth elevation angle measurements to ask us how we don't understand them. No, you dunce! You're measuring a flat Earth!
And I know what Neil's saying, that like you said, Nathan, with the cog disc guy going into... That's what Neil's saying, and yeah, possibly. Because Ruthie's not... I'm not going to say... He's not stupid. You know, he can... You know, he knows how to conversate and have discussed things. He's not like, you know... So he does know about these measurements.
Well, let's just ask. So just clear this up. One deck seems to be suggesting, Ruthie, that you aren't stupid and that you do know that you're measuring a flat Earth for this degree measurement you're questioning flat Earthers about. So which is it? Are you disingenuous, scum, lying bastard? Or are you thick? Which is it? You didn't know you were measuring a flat Earth. That'd be dense. Okay, Ruthie, so I'd like to know, are you stupid? That is, you didn't know you were measuring a flat Earth for the degree? Or are you a disingenuous scumbag? I'm going to go with the latter.
Yeah, that's pretty sad then.
Sorry
it's like people holding in the Titanic, you know, thinking that there'd be an outcome other than what happened.
I don't mind watching Ruthie go down with his own ship. While he says, you know these flat earthers, if we measure an angle that's two straight lines with respect to the surface to a star, and then start deriving things from that flat earth elevation angle measurement that can only be measured off a flat earth, flat earthers haven't understood how this flat earth measurement doesn't work on a flat earth since 2017. So which is it? Dense or disingenuous, Ruthie? Which is it? I'm going to go with disingenuous. I'm going to call you a scumbag. Because apparently you're being defended as not stupid. So it's not like you didn't know you were measuring a flat earth for this degree measurement, did you, Ruthie? Or so my panel seems to think. Yeah? Now, I don't know either way or care. Really. It's just fun. I know you're watching. And I know how this'll sting with me looking down the barrel of the camera and calling you a dunce based on the fact you're asking questions about a measurement that can only come from a flat earth. What an idiot you are, Ruhif. Dunce.
I mean, not that I want to talk. I mean, but why, this is what they do. Why do they skip past the angles? You know what I mean?
Stupid.
What problem? What problem with 60 nautical miles per degree? We haven't got a problem, have we? He's got the problem measuring an angle off the horizontal plane.
Oh, but if he can just accept that we've got this flat Earth elevation angle measurement off a flat plane, he can start asking questions about how it would work on a flat plane after we measured it off a flat plane. That's what disingenuous, cognitive dissonance-afflicted idiots do. Roofy's one of them.
I used to describe it to people like, like this cog-dis thing. I used to, it's like a child grows up, gets to a certain age, the two parents, and then someone comes along and takes the mother away and say, that isn't your mum, never has been. There's the DNA test to prove it, and plonks another mother in front of them and said, this is your real mother. That's how it must feel to them. And they can't let that mum go because that's the mother they've had since birth, who's brought them up and nurtured them. And then that mother's just taken away and they've got proof for DNA that this is the real mother. So you're just going to have to crack on with that now. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard for them. Yeah. I don't know if it's easier to just be a dunce and start asking questions about flat Earth only elevation angle measurements off a flat surface. Yeah? Is it because you feel like you've lost your mother? Is that what it is, Roofy?
No. I think you're both missing it. They've gotten away with it for so long. Nathan, think about it. They were getting away with it from Jump Street, but not anymore.
They're getting away with it. Yeah? Getting away with using flat Earth measurements. That's all we've actually encountered. You getting away with using our stuff. And now you're getting told off for it, aren't you? Getting called thick. Getting called stupid. Did you not realise it was a flat Earth measurement that you were asking about there, Ruhi? Oh, you're just stupid then. Oh, you did realise it was a flat Earth measurement. You just tried to whistle past it like a disingenuous scumbag. Yeah, I don't care which.
I mean, Simon Dunn's coming round, isn't he? He's sort of coming out of the cognitive dissonance now, and he's telling people openly and carrying out hashtag experiments across the locally flat Earth, measuring elevation angles and admitting that's what we need to do. So, he may be coming out of it, it sounds like he is.
We don't only measure Earth flat.
You say getting away with it. I don't think it's getting away with it. I think if they were, quote unquote, getting away with it, they wouldn't need to be out here. The only reason they're out here is because the narrative is not getting away with it. That's my opinion, anyway. But yeah, I don't think they're getting away with it.
No, I totally get what you're saying. You're saying your average Joe Normie, who's none the wiser, when talking about how Earth is a globe, they are getting away with it. But they're not here because they don't need to be. They're getting away with it. Why would they need to come and defend it? But the ones that know it's not true, they need to come and defend it.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm saying.
But I don't know why they try and hold on to it and defend it so much, this ball. I mean, when I realised I didn't live on a ball, it's an amazing thing to realise that isn't actually what we live on. And it's a big lie. And there's something else which is obviously apparent and can be measured and observed. It's a wonderful thing to find out. Why not open your eyes and dive straight into it and think, wow, I found the truth out. This is amazing. Don't hide from it. Protect it. You know what I mean?
Not even like truth, because then it's like somebody's lying to you. And we get into that whole thing. You just figured out how things are done.
Yeah, it's like my instincts and my common sense were always correct.
You're like these people that say, well, I just get a phone call. People say, you can only have a horizon on a sphere. They've never been on a sphere to tell you that any observation from a sphere, because nobody's ever been on a sphere. They've only observations anybody has ever had come from a flat Earth.
Well, the horizon it's horizontal. It has zero slope. I mean, what's that got to do with curvature?
It's like saying you can only be a bachelor if you're married. Same thing.
Mm.
What's going on? Where's Nathan at?
I'm right here.
He's here.
What's he doing? Making a thumbnail or something?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I think Nathan's gone for a coffee and Brian's gone for a bath or a shower.
I just said, what are you talking about? I'm just asking if you were around. I didn't hear you.
No, I'm here.
All right.
All good.
You into a ball
did
buster
Adam send
Saturday?
you? Did Adam send you the book?
God. You ready? Is everything okay? I got a question for you. You good for ball busters this Saturday or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might. It's supposed to be 95 here. I ain't going to be shooting Saturday, so I guess we'll run one. Get ready for the backlash.
Eli's already got hit with that backlash.
Yeah, he said he did yesterday. I told him his name was Mud.
Eli?
He's singing a different tune today, QE. I don't know.
He's singing a different. Where is he?
Eli, you here?
Let's all get along, and they do things differently there. And you can't just go in like a samurai. Yeah.
Go in where like a samurai.
You ready?
I guess 24/7.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Yeah. After after I taught them dumbasses for years and years, I give all the weapons, all the ammunition for their quiver. They turn around and stab me. And they not only piss down my back and tell me it's raining, while they're pissing down my back, they get out the knives and then stab them in there. So you want me to kumbaya?
Yes.
I don't think so.
What I said, QE, was, first of all,
I'm going to tear their ass to pieces.
No, I agree, but he was saying, well, I look at it like iron sharpening iron. I said, no, we're the blades, QE's the sharpener, but they're taking the sharpener and kicking it across the room like they don't need it anymore with their dull ass knives.
But that's like a gross mischaracterization of the context and all the stuff I said.
Eli.
There he
Where's
is.
Eli? Hold on a second. What? Where's Eli at? He's not in here. I don't see his placard. I don't see his avatar.
My other phone is dead. I'm charging it now anyway. But yeah, so I'm in the Discord.
You need to keep this phone. That mic sounds great.
Yeah, I'm washing dishes, so I got it on speaker. But yeah, no. My point was there were a couple of points that I made. Point number one is that when we talk about 24/7, the whole 24/7 is not terrible. There are people that are there that argue exactly as Nathan would, or you would, or anyone else would, and then there are.
Why wouldn't they?
Then there are the others.
Why wouldn't they? They've heard it for what? 7 years, over and over and over and over. They still fuck it up.
So
These idiots
So my
the other
point.
day.
My point was.
Just
My
wait.
point
Just
was.
wait. Just wait.
Mhm.
These idiots the other day. I can't recall who was in there because in my spare time, along in my truth journey, I'll turn these morons on and flip through. These idiots brought up the two black swans. First of all, DJ, the dumbass, thinks that he's getting around presenting the black swan argument by presenting the 8-foot observation. That's mine too, you dumbass. If you see Bye-Bye Ball on it, yeah, that's mine too, number one. Number two, they're arguing with these people. They got 4 dumbass, idiot, pretender clown, flat earthers, whoever they were in there. They got both black swans up. So somebody posted the original black swan and then the 8-foot black swan, and they're talking about the pedigree information, but they're talking about the pedigree information in the context of mine, the original one, in another context, in the 8-foot observation. So they're screwing up the platforms, the platform names, and the person they're talking to is so confused. You know why? Because we got pretender clown flat earthers in politics server, mostly the mods that are the morons, right? That shouldn't be out here. They should be picking up cans alongside the road, supervised. That's why. I coddled these idiots for years. I figured they'd catch on to these arguments. You know, they're so simple. They still fuck it up.
So like who?
Like, what do you mean, like who? You got fucking DJ. You have
You've thought DJ over the years, or is he new as hell? Because I don't really know him like
he's
that.
new as hell. But you got some of the. Well, I haven't heard Jetty all that much over there.
And remember, you did make a full distinction between the original 24/7 and the politics server, and now there's an English. So all I'm trying to say is, we're not listening 24/7. There's a lot of times that there's conversation in there that like I just can't be bothered to try to correct, and I just leave. Sometimes I'm in there for hours. Sometimes Miggy's in there for hours. It depends. Not I'm just saying that
Miggy's one of them. He's got some dumbass arguments. He seems like he forgot everything over the years. He's another one. Indio. Stay tuned to Ballbusters Saturday.
Indio needs to be addressed.
Well,
now, Indio and I are friends. I consider Indio a friend of mine. However, I've had more than 6 people send me a video of his debate with an astronomer. That's what we're going to be going over on Saturday.
Thank God.
Yeah. My criticism directly after the
I wasn't done yet.
Oh, go ahead.
So I've flipped through it a couple times about a week ago. What I flipped through is not very good. I'm going to tell you that right now. So shit's going to hit the fan. That's my prediction, unless he recovered from the other comments that he made. It's gonna be bad, dude.
How's he going to recover from science?
So what's the story? Oh, Neil. Did somebody already listen to this?
Go on. That sounds intriguing.
How is he going to recover from not breaking down the scientific method? How?
It's Neil must have listened to it, because that's the couple pieces I ran into that were, I was like, I was speechless. So what's your, I'll just wait for your excuse Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Elijah.
I would say I'm not surprised, because being around this long, I've heard him talk about the scientific method, but I've also heard him do the thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the thing where you're talking to the thing.
Let me explain, Indio. He tries to be too intellectual.
Fine, I'll explain the thing. The thing where you're talking to some pretender clown physicist or somebody like that, where you're using terms that aren't necessarily correct as far as the scientific method and physics and all of that is concerned. Just to get along with the conversation.
That's too vague.
He tries to be too intellectual.
I'm trying to be as vague as possible. What do you mean? But
From what I hear, he tries to be.
I understand what you mean. My criticism to that debate, I was like, yo, 3 hours and his audience, like he did his job. They didn't hear any flat earth in there. So, I mean, he's not. It's not like you said. He's a friend of yours, and I don't think he's beyond critique. I would think he'd welcome it.
Not. No, he's not. No one ever is. So I apologize. I'm not fucking apologizing. If you coming out here and you're speaking, and you've got a venue, and you're speaking to the crowd, then you are available for critique. That's it. So it's not going to be good. From the stuff that I heard, it better get a lot. It better improve drastically from the couple of things that I heard.
Doesn't.
It's going to get ugly. There's no excuse after 9 years of me saying it over and over and over again, coming up backwards to forwards from the side, getting into the little intricacies of it. It's not rocket surgery. Not. There's no excuse. None.
Right. See, if you weren't out here re-educating everybody, I can understand. But it's been 10 years now. There's no excuse for what I heard.
Uh-oh, Neil. So you listened to all of it?
About an hour of it, and I had enough.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, but let me just say, I said no flat earth, but I guess specular reflections. Other than that, yeah.
What do you mean specular reflections?
I understand. Well, that was something brought up in the conversation.
That was one of mine that I brought out back in the day. There's another one.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, because I said there was no flat earth, but that was wrong. Other than that, yeah, talking about the neutrinos, I know that's the part that you're critical of.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! There's neutrinos in here.
Yep. He let the guy take him to neutrinos.
Let me shut my mouth.
But why did he let the guy take him to neutrinos? Really? Really? Dewey, would you ever be brought into a neutrino argument?
Not in flat Earth. What the hell does that have to do with anything with flat Earth?
Plus, you got a chocolate bar.
Well, he was affirming the consequent the Glober, so that's how that happened.
Well, we'll see. We're not going to go over it here, but that'll be Ball Busters on Saturday. We'll see where it goes. There's no excuses. Get ready for the backlash, Nathan. Before everything goes down. You're welcome.
Nathan can handle it.
I guess he left.
Or going to make a coffee. But if he was making coffee, you'd hear counters people banging on counters.
Oh, and your little meteorological society definitions are friggin' clueless there, Elijah. Absolutely clueless.
Well, they're not my definitions. That's what DJ is along.
Yeah, no wonder. The American Meteorological Society claims that looming, sinking, towering, and stooping are fucking mirages. Absolute morons.
Well, yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong here, since the subject matter expert of the Ballers, Andrew Thomas Young, states specifically that they're not. Is there a rooster in the hen house here? We got laws of identity violation everywhere. Fucking idiots. This refraction nonsense, man. Unbelievable.
It hasn't stopped.
Unbelievable. Earth Awakenings 1.0. That is the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0. That's all they do is they give. Hey, Nathan, did you hear? Nathan, are you here?
Yes.
Did you hear Danny Faulkner challenge? Danny Faulkner, you might not have heard this. Danny Faulkner was in the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0 over Earth Awakenings, and they're talking about the Cell Theo, the celestial theodolite. Danny Faulkner's over there. And he says, wait a second, because all the flat earthers are talking about refraction this, refraction that. Danny says, wait a second. I was out here 9 years ago, and can you tell me what the issue that the flat earthers back then, they wouldn't have any of this refraction, but you guys, there's no problem. More or less, I'm paraphrasing. Did you hear him say that?
I did, and that's sad that a freaking baller has to admit that.
Are you Nathan?
I didn't hear him say that, but so you're saying Danny Faulkner's pointing out that while, let's call it as it is, we point out the flaws with refraction, which isn't refraction most of the time in this context, there are certain individuals who are perfectly cool with it.
Yeah, flat earthers that are perfectly, yeah. He even Danny, the dumbass cracker that he is, recognized that, when this horseshit refraction came out back in the day, I stomped a mud hole in it and kept stomping mud holes. And everyone, well, I'm not saying everyone, but a large portion of people said, oh, yeah, these ballers, they're just bullshitting us. Yeah, because I laid it all out. Right? But Danny recognized that these flat earthers now, over in Earth Awakenings 1.0, or I'm sorry, Land of Misfit Toys 1.0, they're talking about refraction this, well, the refraction to the mountain, and the refraction from the mountain to this, and celestial refraction. And Danny's going on and on about how there's a difference between atmospheric refraction and terrestrial refraction. But he then stops the whole conversation and says, well, wait a second. Back in the day, I've been out here a long time. Back in the day, you got the flat earthers wouldn't have refraction. What's going on? Say that. Oh, God, I got to go find it. I did a show on it. I did a show exposing Danny Faulkner over there while you were in pain.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah, let me see if I can't track it down. Go ahead, Neil.
No, I was just saying it's sad how a baller has to set them straight. Unbelievable.
Where would I have that? Oh, I know where it is. Hope I didn't delete it. I might have done that.
Hey, I guarantee if you go over there now, they're talking about refraction.
Nope, I got the video. I just don't know. I didn't timestamp where I can flip through it though. Hold on. You don't mind, do you? Nathan.
No, I don't.
You don't mind, do you? You can get Neil. Who are you talking about? That you can guarantee they're talking about. Who's they?
Oh, you could go to Earth Awakenings. It's all taking shape over there too. Refraction.
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's been taking shape for years over there. Good. That's the point. All right, where are you guys? There you are.
Yeah, see, my point was that this refraction mess, like there's always been people within our mess. Remember Lemon Bird? Like they keep coming.
Thanks. I'm going to have to flip through this live, so you're going to have to put up with me. 1 second. Where are you guys?
Eli, that's understandable if it's the first 2 years, right? But it's been 10 years, over 10 years now.
All right, this is about to be painful. Just relax. I got to find it. Go back a little bit more. Back here, and we'll flip through it.
I think let's see like what,
Remember 2036, Neil. Can you do that?
2036.
All right, remember that number.
I think it is very clever. I see two problems. Number one, it relies upon a lot of computation of what the refraction.
Yeah, it's been done 46 times now, Shane.
Well, let me ask you this question.
6 different peaks, like 28 different stuff.
I got another question if I can ask. I've been involved in the.
Ready? I'm right on it. That was quick. Okay, you ready? Nathan, you there? Oh, Nathan.
Yes.
All right. There's divine intervention. I'm right on it right now. You ready?
I got another question if I can ask. I've been involved in the flat Earth discussion now for 9 years, and I remember back when we would mention refraction, usually talking about terrestrial refraction, for seeing too far, objects too far. When we would bring that up, flat Earthers generally would laugh in derision, dismissing.
Let's see. Yeah. He's challenging. Wait a second. You'd get laughed. They'd get laughed at. What's happening?
Thinking we're just making up excuses and such. I don't hear flat Earthers doing that anymore. In fact,
Danny's all over it. Flat Earthers aren't doing that anymore. They're allowing it. Get that, Nathan.
You see flat Earthers attempting to invoke refraction on their own. I think it's
Danny caught it. Danny's all over it. Now you have flat Earthers invoking it. That is the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0, and then the Land of Misfit Toys 2.0, 24/7 politics. That's who he's talking about. Yeah.
An interesting change that's been made over the past.
It's an interesting change that's been made, Danny, because we have hordes and hordes of overwhelming numbers of pretender clown flat earthers that don't know their ass from a pipe wrench. That's the problem, Danny. Let's see. Let's listen to their response, because Danny put it to him. Let's see if Earth Awakenings can come up with a coherent response.
Past 9 years.
Well, I think that our position with refraction has been that previously it's been used as like a blanket of unfalsifiability applied to any terrestrial observation at sea level that would magically bring it back to be coherent with the globe, right? No matter the distance, there is no coefficient for refraction that you guys would.
There is no refraction, Shane St. Fraud. You're not answering his question, by the way. There's no coefficient for something that it doesn't exist in the atmo. St. Fraud
would apply. That would bring that, observation that's too far on the globe to be refracted just up enough to be seen on the globe.
Refracted just up enough.
Who's this guy speaking? Why does he sound so nervous?
He's one of Witsit's little clown boys, Shane St. Fraud. I don't know why his voice is like that. You're gonna have to ask him.
Fair enough.
He's not answering Danny's question.
So I think with the celestial theodolite and with recent sort of discussions where we're trying to make the.
What does the celestial theodolite have to do with Danny's question? He said he's been out here for 9 years. They were laughed at in the beginning when they brought up refraction in derision by flat earthers, but now it seems that flat earthers are invoking it themselves. That's his question. Danny's confused, and you're not answering the question, Saint Fraud.
The prediction with refraction, right, will allow terrestrial.
There are no predictions. What refraction, moron?
Refraction and celestial refraction to be applied.
Oh my God. It's like listening to politics 24/7.
with your prediction, and then we have to hold you to that prediction when we try to do the calculation to get the distance for the peak and the elevation above sea level.
What the hell are you talking about? That's not answering his question. This is a whole bunch of nonsense. It's nonsensical bullshittery.
The whole thing with refraction is before, when it wasn't being used to predict, it could just be endless.
Before, when it wasn't being used to predict what? What the hell are you talking about?
He's talking about one of those
post-diction.
He's talking about one of those crystal balls called refraction.
When it was, I guess it was. How much glue do you sniff, Saint Fraud? True or false? Fucking ass clown.
And apply to anything to make it go away. And now with this celestial theodolite and other observations, we have to make, a prediction with it. And it turns out now, no matter which.
You're making predictions with refraction and the celestial theodolite. Really? And that's why. That's why we used to laugh at them. Yeah. He didn't listen to the question. He's on his own dumbass agenda. It's the same old thing. And of course, Danny's so stupid, he's not going to hold their feet to the fire.
Form and type and amount you apply, it's never consistently enough. That's what we're finding.
That didn't answer his question. That whole jumbo of cluster fuckingness, it didn't answer Danny's question. Danny, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, Danny, you would definitely
doesn't sound like Danny.
Be intrigued by all the update to the Celestial Theo.
So, Danny, you would be intrigued by all the update to the Celestial Theodolite. Unbelievable. We're dealing with morons that can't focus on what the conversation is, what was asked. No one listens. They got their own dumbass agenda. And then the other party that should be holding their feet to the fire. Like, I just put a question out to you in regards to refraction back in the day, and why are flat earthers, invoking refraction themselves now when they laughed at us in derision with refraction back in the day? They answered the question. Let's see.
Argument since you heard about it a couple months ago. It's just been getting, fine-tuned ever since.
Thanks. That had nothing to do with Danny's point.
I didn't know that Rob Parks had addressed it. I like him.
And he's such a fucking moron that he doesn't hold their feet to the fire. He just goes off on their red herring fallacy. Just follows it. I just wanted to let you hear that Danny was at least coherent for a second and recognized what was happening here over the years. That's all I wanted to let you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't dislike Danny. I'm sure you appreciate that. It displeases you sometimes when you hear me say that, but
no. Danny is a pretender clown fraud. That's already been established, right? It's not that I don't like Danny. Danny is a pretender clown fraud, period. We all know this for the years that I knew that in 2016 when I dealt with him personally, right? It's not that I don't like him or do like him. That's not the point. The point is that at least he had some awareness about him and recognized what the game has been over the years and how the game has changed. Follow?
Yeah, he's pointing that out in this instance. He's saying, how is it the case that up until a point everyone's against refraction and no one's going to tolerate it? Now you guys invoke it.
Yep.
And he's not getting an answer. Just to reiterate what you've said already, but it sometimes is strengthened by someone reiterating it, in this case me. He's not getting an answer, is he?
No, but Danny's such a moron that he forgot what he asked him, and now he's going to chase the red herring fallacy, sell Theo. Did you catch that part?
I might, if Nathan is not going to respond to it.
I guess Nathan's not responding. Did you go get coffee?
I would say on I'd say on Danny's part, he's quite happy to just leave it go at that, because his opposition are now making his claims for him.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what you're saying. He's willing to let it all go, let his challenge and question go for expediency to his train wreck religion.
Well, his main focus is to make sure that he keeps his religion going, and they're helping him do that. So why get in the way? Why block the tracks? You know what I mean? Leave it go.
Okay, fair enough. Nathan, you still with us? I suppose not.
When you hear things like celestial Theo and what was the name?
No. You got it wrong. Cell Theo.
Sorry, Cell Theo and the MMX, stuff like this. These are kind of cool abbreviations, aren't they? And you know you're being fed a line of bullshit when you hear that. When you hear cool abbreviations.
Yep. So let me take this back. I'm going to timestamp it and I'm going to keep it. Or I usually delete these things after I'm done with them, but in this case, I didn't do it. So good on me. Back 1 second.
And apply to anything to make it go away.
Shut up.
Previously,
when we would mention, if I can ask,
Danny has a question that he'd like to ask. Let me go ahead and timestamp it. It's right here. There we go. Let me do this right now. Then we'll hear it again without interruption from me.
I got another question, if I can ask. I've been involved in the flat Earth discussion now for 9 years, and I remember back when we would mention refraction, usually talking about terrestrial refraction, for seeing too far, objects too far. When we would bring that up, flat earthers generally would laugh in derision, dismissing it, thinking we're just making up excuses and such. I don't hear flat earthers doing that anymore. In fact, I see flat earthers attempting to invoke refraction on their own. I think it's an interesting change that's been made over the past 9 years.
Well, I think that our position with refraction has.
There you go. You don't have a position with refraction, glue sniffer. You're a pretender clown fraud. So there you go. There you have it. Danny recognizes it.
He used the term error as if he's speaking to us.
Sure. Welcome to Shangri-La. How's it smell?
Yeah, he's saying that the guy used the term us, but it's not us, is it?
That's not the point. Elijah. Not the point.
No, that's what Brian said.
I know, but that's not the point. So don't go up on a train of little feeble skittles. The whole point is what Danny said. And that's the issue. Right?
Why is he asking? I mean, isn't it potentially deprecating to his position if he gets a good answer? I mean, he's not getting one. So that was a gamble worth taking on Danny's part. But why ask? Why don't you keep your mouth shut?
What? What do you mean? It wasn't a gamble on his part. He just reported what he experienced over the past 9 years. There was that he wasn't in a compromising position right there. He goes, more or less, why the flip-flop? So he's not in a compromised position. He knows he's not going to get a decent answer, probably. I don't know. I'm just saying that at least he had the awareness to recognize what has happened over the years. That's all I'm saying. I was shocked. I nearly fell out the chair when I freaking heard him say that.
And how has this happened? How is it now the case that? Oh, is this what Ballbusters is about on Saturday? How is it the case that our own side are utilising? I can't believe I'm bringing myself to say this, but refraction as an argument, like an effect that they can utilise. I mean, refraction's real, but in this discussion it isn't, because their refraction isn't real refraction. It's not to say that there isn't such a thing as refraction. Yes, you can have light change through two different mediums. Snell's law is real, but that's not what he's asking. He's saying that's not what they're utilising, though, is it? They're not using real refraction either, are they?
No.
Why? Why are we in the Twilight Zone? What's happened?
I know. Well, I'm going to tell you what's happened. We have pretender clown flat earthers everywhere. That's what's happened. And they don't know their ass from a pipe wrench. So they get Jedi mind tricked by people saying, refraction. See, if the ballers say something long enough to the idiot pretender clown flat earthers, they get Jedi mind tricked into, oh, yeah, refraction. Yeah. In fact, I'll use it. That's where we're at.
It's the same thing with gas pressure without containment. Same thing.
Focus.
No, I'm just saying they'll say a few words like equalization.
No, it's not the same thing. So go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, what Danny didn't get was a refusal, as in they didn't deny what he said.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's grand by Danny.
Yeah. He busted him. So Danny, his position was unassailable. Nathan, what comeback would compromise Danny right there?
What comeback from the flatty side would compromise Danny?
Yes.
I don't know.
There isn't any. He's got him. So why Danny's saying, in other words, like I said, why the flip-flop flat earthers? Because before we were laughing at him, in derision was the phrase that he used. And now all of a sudden, flat earthers are not only doing that, but in fact are now using refraction themselves. That's what he said.
I mean, I don't have an answer. None of this makes any sense to me.
I just explained. You want me to explain it to you again?
Yeah, go on.
The truth is, we're still laughing at him. It's just these guys are not actually flat earthers.
Flat earthers are conceding that. I think they're conceding that there's an index of refraction for air.
What?
What the hell are you talking about?
And it can happen in just air.
How could you concede to that? That's not a concession. It would have to be true for it to be a concession.
I was going to say,
it's not true.
That's not true.
No, I'm just saying. Instead of that, it's something like a more gradual still refractive index or something. I don't know.
How can you have a refractive index when there's not two mediums?
That's what I was saying. We're back on this refractive index again?
I guess you can talk about a refractive index of a substance, but it's utterly meaningless without refraction. You follow?
Absolutely.
Yes. Boundary.
Glass, there's different materials that have different refractive indices. I mean, that's not a problem. But you have to associate it now with actual refraction. You can't do it. I mean, you could say there's different refractive indices for different materials. Like I said, there's no problem with that. Yeah, there is.
So, for instance, like you'll have like a thin piece of glass versus a very thick piece. Just like the light, it'll be different upon entering. Right?
Yep.
Super different. It's a different kind, but that's not like what the air is.
Exactly. I think you got it now. Yep. So this is where we're at. I told you a number of weeks ago, probably 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, that get ready for the hordes of refraction nerds. I told you, get ready. You guys are going to have to deal with it. I'm not dealing with it.
I thought you were exaggerating a little bit until I was rudely awakened. And I understood exactly. I even sent a few messages. QE is right. They are on refraction and they're not getting off it.
Yeah, because I was listening to New Perspective because they had, like I said, this is from New Perspective right here. So I'm subscribed to him. And what he does is he goes through all, because they run the same thing more or less as Politics 24/7 Flat Earth do. They have a channel and they run 12 hours. Right. I'm not sitting there listening to fucking 12 hours. I'm not even flipping through it. So I wait till New Perspective comes out, because what he does, he comes out and he gets the good clips out of all the nonsensical horseshittery and all the quietness. So he populates my feed. So whenever I get Earth Awakening stuff, or he downloads some stuff, I go ahead and thumb through his stuff. This is only 1 hour and 26 minutes, so I'll pop through it, right, to see if I can't catch stuff, because I'm not listening to this whole thing either. Most of his clips are 20 to 30 minutes, right? So I was doing that and then doing the same thing with Politics server, and I kept hearing more or less the same thing. Now, they're not talking about the South Theo over at Politics. Shout out to Brian. But refraction.
I mean, how we deal with it is the same as how we deal with the ballers, right? We just ask them to define it. What's refraction? Define it for us.
Well, and then you get what DJ did the other day from, would he give the definition from Oxford Languages? Right? Let me go get that one. Already in Discord. Where is it? One moment, please. Rolled right to it. Oxford Languages, refraction. Listen to this. The fact or phenomenon of light. That makes no sense, by the way. The fact or phenomenon? What? I digress. The fact or phenomenon of light, radio waves, etc., being deflected in passing obliquely through the interface between one medium and another, or through a medium of varying density. You catch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you catch the contradiction?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
You can't have, there are no ors in laws. Find me a law that says anywhere in it describing the phenomena, and then say what the deal is with it, and then say or.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Find me one. Good luck with that, by the way.
Entropy will mean that the expansion of a gas will increase unless it has the physical boundaries of the walls of its container or a gravitational wall.
No. See, that is an example.
I was going to say that's not the law.
That is
That's
an example. That is an example of the second law of thermodynamics, but that's not the second law of thermodynamics. There's many different examples of the second law of thermodynamics. High pressure to low pressure, always heat flowing from hot to cold. Or, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. That's examples or attributes of the second law. That's not the second law. There, Elijah. You have the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. You can't have being described, and it's from Oxford Languages. Why would he post something like that? Because the first part of this definition is correct, except factor phenomena. That's dumbassery. The factor phenomena of light radio waves being deflected and passing obliquely through the interface. Yeah, that's the boundary or surface between one medium and another. That's correct right there. That is correct. The or is the incoherent add-on for baltards or through a medium of varying density. Can't have that. You can't take the interface because that's where refraction occurs. Without the interface, there is no refraction. Follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the whole point I was trying to get to, because it was a cluster screw on the show. I think I got to it. I pointed it out many times. When I asked him, here was the question. Because I finally figured out what this glue sniffer was trying to friggin' peddle. I said, is there another type of refraction that's different from Snell's law? And he said yes. How many times did he say that? It had to be 6 or 7. Because I kept on asking him. Yeah?
Yes.
Right, I'm going to round out with that. Another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.